This is Kitten Features, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wayne in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Oh, hello. Hey, there we go. Like always, audio cables. Good thing I can fix them on the fly. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Show X on VTWProductions.com. You're listening live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT again, as we have caught up to the rest of the world with our time change this morning. So, welcome back to our international friends. Hopefully that didn't confuse you, the 1 week difference from last week to this week. Anyhow, I want to thank you all for joining us and to welcome special guests in the room today. We have Hide My Error for Hide My Error Cosplay, and we have Zenko Akko from Zenko Akko Cosplay. You've seen them before on my Game Fest show, and they're going to be in here to help us as Ken is out and about celebrating Remember, the 5th of November. And I don't know the rest of the line. But essentially, it is the 5th of November today, and they are out celebrating in the UK the capture of Guy Fawkes and the other terrorists who were going to blow up Parliament way back in the day. For all of those unschooled Americans who believe this is somehow a celebration of revolutionaries, oh no, it is quite the opposite. This is a celebration of capturing terrorists and executing them. So just know that. Although V for Vendetta is a great movie and depicts similar but the opposite circumstance. So anyhow, so we're going to kick things off right away with a bit of
Dysfunctional Deviations.
And today in Dysfunctional Deviations, as we have no Ken, we are going to instead talk about the things we've been doing and all the fun that's been going on here in Colorado. I will probably have to adjust vocals and stuff as I go because, of course, I tend to be louder than my guests. I don't know why. But we'll see how this goes. To start things off, I had a couple things. I do want to talk about what we've done. And I want to ask if, in the past, I don't believe I've interviewed you guys yet, have I?
No.
Okay. I do have a goal at some point to sit down and actually interview you guys. And we'll see if we get to that today with maybe the second half of the show a little bit. Since we all run around the same circles with cosplay and costuming as a whole and some of our love of all things geek. So we will get into some of that, and actually some of it will probably spark just in the conversation because of the things we're going to talk about. So initially, I was going to talk about things that have been consumed and watched that are geeky, but not specifically geeky this week. Things that all people can enjoy. You don't have to be a geek like me. First of all, was going to talk about Friday. Friday night, got a hair to go out into the world and do things. Spent most of the day trying to recover from Halloween and take down decorations. Still not complete. They've been consolidated better into a space, and so they're ready to be packed away. But later it was decided that I should get out of the house, and thus started throwing it out there that I should see a movie and do something else. In doing so, Heidmeyer and I decided to get together and do that. Actually, I do have to back up one step before that because Zenko Akko and I did something prior. Earlier in the week, following the previous Sunday, it was actually Halloween. Which people may remember that I really like.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, there's an actual holiday.
So, the last show I was a little rough because recovering from Halloween party and all that I did there. But following that actual Halloween, it was on a weekday. It was Tuesday, so unfortunately it makes it difficult for trick-or-treating and to really celebrate the day. It's always nicer when it's on the weekend. But it was actually a pretty nice day here in Colorado. I always say that it's going to be a flip between really, really cold and everybody's in more winter coats and parkas than they are costumes, or quite pleasant, in which case you get to see all the nice costumes out, which was the case of this. Worked all day. I did not wear true costume to work, just my top hat that I had last year, a little skull on it, and my little sunglasses, little circle sunglasses. So I was kind of low-key costume.
It still looked good.
It was bad because I get a lot of instances, apparently, whenever I wear a top hat of any kind, that I'm Slash.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Long hair and a hat and you're instantly Slash? Why? Come on. Anyhow, but that was fun. And I reverse trick-or-treated at work like I like to do. So I took as much candy in preemptively to work before Halloween because I knew it was all going to come out anyways the next day. And went to anyone I could find in costume and gave them candy. And so that's one thing I'll do is where it's like, hey, let me not leave these in my office, which I already did for everyone else, as I'm trying to stay on this diet-ish. And...
You're doing okay.
Ish. Depends on who I hang out with and what weekend.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Worth it.
Guilty.
Worth it. I'm still down 25 pounds, so it's still not bad. I keep continuing to go lower.
Hey, Wayne, what if we just had, a whole bowl of just cookie dough?
There's still, half left.
Yeah.
Another bowl, you mean?
I did have a couple of those for breakfast today. Damn it. You guys should have ate those. But it's okay. No, so... Did the thing there, then ran up, and I've started trying to get more serious on my martial arts. So on Tuesdays, I've started training people.
Okay.
On Tuesdays. And
me.
yeah, I have a club-ish. That's Hyde. But in addition to, have actually had our friend Brooke joined us last time, and hopefully we'll continue to make practice of it, because it is my opportunity to take the 13-plus years of martial arts training I've done specifically in ninjutsu and translate and make sure I know what I'm doing. It'll help me progress to my next level of Toshi level, which is actually an instructor. And with that, so I've done that, and then on Wednesdays I've been actually doing focus training with my buddy Mike, where we're both at the same level, and so we're trying to together work on our material. And then Thursday I actually go train. But this Tuesday for Halloween, ran up, did training, pretty briefly, ran as maybe almost too fast, home.
I got a couple concerning texts while you were driving home from you while you were driving.
Wait,
about your driving.
You don't know I was driving at the time the texting occurred.
I know how long
may
it
have been
takes
describing what happened during the drive home. Man, that first road, that stop sign comes up on you quick. When you're on gravel and you lock up all your tires and you realize you're not going to make the turn.
Yeah, and how it tees off right there, so you're just gonna either go into a field or hit that sign.
No, what you learned is to, at some point, let off enough that I can make the turn at speed. I'm just not going to stop. And so thus I slid up to the turn, let off the brakes, and made the turn aggressively. And did not go into a ditch.
That's good, that's
or
good.
sign. It was good. At which point I gave myself more lead time before every stop to ensure that I could stop. But made it home and was joined, thankfully, and much appreciated by Zenko Akko.
Ta-da!
They appreciated that Halloween's favorite holiday each year and said, hey, we should come over and all hang out. Sweet. Unfortunately, got home a little later than I would have liked to probably catch the prime number of trick-or-treaters, but did succeed in catching, I don't know, a dozen groups or a little less.
Mm-hmm. About that.
Zenko Akko got to experience what it's like to be around Wayne on Halloween.
It was fun.
Do tell.
I started them watching Stranger Things because they hadn't seen it, and I thought that would be an appropriate kind of show. It's very popular. People really enjoy it. For Halloween, I was actually looking, because at the time I was watching Corpse Bride, which I come to realize I've never seen. We've had a few discussions, Hyde, about how there are certain popular media that everybody has seen. And because everybody has seen it, and everybody has talked about it for so long, I too believe I have seen it.
I feel you there.
Until I start to watch it and go, wait a second. I don't think I've actually seen this movie.
This was in here?
And so, yeah. So don't judge.
I'm judging.
I'm
I'm judging pretty hard.
I mean
my
to see
job.
it, and I now know.
He admitted it.
So I now know that I need to spend some quality time with that movie as well as many others. Anyhow, they came. I decided to find something that we could all enjoy, and so I started and was like, "You have not seen any of Stranger Things? Oh my! Let us do this."
I had been told about it several times by people, including my older brother, who was very excited about it. And I will say that a lot of things that people had told me made it sound like it was just all straight up 80s references instead of like
Just
its
being the
own
80s.
story and being the 80s and the subtleties of things and all the nostalgia kicks and things like that. So that was really fun to get to start to experience.
Yeah. Well, and amongst our little tight-knit circle we have here, we have kind of a running, I don't know what it is, not a competition, but a thing we all do amongst each other of trying to find things that we love that we can share with each other.
Yeah.
True.
Because we all have our things, and we've all done it. I started out very well by introducing Voltron, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
However,
Thank you.
everybody has their own breadth. And so, like, at least to me personally, Hyde had introduced me a little bit to, like, Welcome to Night Vale, which I still need to continue. And I forget the Laughing Bunnies one or something, that one. The other one.
Rabbits?
Rabbits. Bunnies, sim. Rabbits. Which, well, the problem being they were on my links, right? And
There's
unfortunately...
no laughing.
Sorry, you're right.
There is no
I was trying
laughing.
to remember the name. But
That is
I need the links. I need to go back, but I actually have my
existential
computer up.
chaoticism.
But things like this, whereas Zenko Akko have a breadth, and I've talked about it some before with their blog that everybody should check out, talking about anime and things they've consumed with Japanese culture and just a different view than I think a lot of otaku and weeaboo and other people that just kind of like the culture would experience. Theirs is a much more grounded, in-depth, have experienced and did things with. And so they introduced us to a lot of Japanese culture and anime that aren't the popular anime. We had a long discussion
Not so much
about
the
this.
mainstream.
Yeah, we had a long discussion about this another one of the nights where I think Thursday night or
Thursday.
something where I was just going to stop by.
And we held him captive for very long talking about anime,
people
among
are-
other things.
That people have never heard of.
But so we all share things, and so being able to share to them, like Stranger Things, was wonderful. They shared to us. Was it Steins Gate
Steins Gate, Over the Garden Wall,
over the garden?
which we had surprisingly not seen, despite me knowing of its existence. So
Well,
it's-
and A Silent Voice, which they were the ones like, let's go see this, which was a roller coaster. I talked about that minimal bit that I can remember at the time, because we can talk about all these things.
I think you summed it up pretty well last week.
That was like no energy in me going like, this is what I got.
Hey, we warned you it wasn't a feel-good movie.
Well, so here's the
My
weird part.
favorite part was all the children's commercials at the start. All the lighthearted, happy children commercials that you would see at a movie theater.
Well,
for a
because it's
kids'
anime,
movie.
right? So it's got to be a kid's thing.
Oh,
the
It's
first,
almost like if you were to watch a Jim Henson's production of something, you would think that's got to be for kids.
No, no, no.
you are wrong.
so we could tell
I never
the
said
first
that
time
was
we
for
saw
kids.
it, which was earlier in the weekend, we could tell the people who were there that didn't quite realize what exactly they were getting into because you had these families with small children that thought maybe this is like a Studio Ghibli, nice feel-good
Oh,
kind of
no.
movie.
Oh, no.
No, it's not.
But and so
Heavy
Spectacular,
tones.
but
well, so
heavy
here's the funny
tones.
thing. You say it's not feel good, and I said it wasn't feel good. But at the same time, after watching the entire thing, really liked it and felt good about it in the end. Through a lot of emotional roller coaster and scenes that I was seriously like, no, you don't. Now again, no Grave of the Fireflies, right? No.
There is a certain poignancy
was
of
no-
hope in it.
Yes.
Okay. No, thank you for that, by the way. No Grave of the Fireflies, but at the same time, emotions throughout. But a great film.
It was a pretty heavy film.
Actually, if you'll notice, at the beginning of the two are somewhat similar because it tells you the roadmap of where you're going. Both of them do.
But you don't know that. You don't know that going in.
It's true.
And that one and Silent Voice gets you with specific scenes. God, because the level of like just even the bullying, because there's points where it's just bullying, and there's points where it's like, that's not even just mean, like that's cruel,
Yep.
and holy crap,
I have a lot of feelings on the matter.
yeah. So there's that, right? Anyhow, that was last week. Back to Halloween.
Get sidetracked by more horrible things.
Oh, so many things down the paths. But we'll get to some of that. But so Halloween, they got to see what I did as I got home, started them on Stranger Things, and we'll talk more of that because we continue that later. I try to go chronological as best I can to remember things. They got to see my giving out treats to trick-or-treaters.
It was fun. It was a lot of hearing it. Kids that would scream, and then when he would suddenly be quieter and we knew there was a smaller child on the step.
So anyone who's heard me talk about Halloween, they know that I dress in a scary mask that someone years ago left at one of my parties, as many of my random costumes have come from. Apparently people get drunk, take off parts of costumes, and leave them. And so I collect them, and now they become
Forever.
my default costumes for others who don't wear costumes.
I have to make sure I actually have all of my costume now.
I believe yours is fine. I believe yours is fine. In fact, I don't think I found any
There's
new
still makeup
pieces.
in your bathroom.
So that I know
And a
those-
squirrel on the shelf.
that I think was donated because I don't remember who brought it, but I remember it being set there.
Kronk.
That's why. And that was such a good costume. too.
Drunk in knees mode. They were beautiful.
So that was good. That was good. But the makeup was actually Unit Zero. What he was waiting on to take a photo of the whole time until Jamie and Patrick brought it.
Got it.
Aw.
So that's what that was. So I know her a lot of things, and I know where most.
That was
of
my
them came
guess,
from.
actually.
But essentially, I wear this mask and a cloak over my head, and I have my cool pirate's chest that I use for all the booty for the candy. Set it by the door, and I just go about my thing. If I'm home on my own, I'll have my front door camera up and be playing scary games, scaring myself for other people's enjoyment. But when they come up, I creepily go to the door, basically open it, and in such a way that I have like a film over the glass part of the door, so they can't really see me directly. They just know the door's open. And as I open it, I slowly start to open it, and depending on age, I will either, if they're old enough, burst out of the door and literally go, "What do you want?" At which point I get various reactions. My favorite is kids that jump and scream and go like, "Oh, hell no!" Things like that. With younger kids, I just don't say anything, open the door, and just kind of look and leer at them through the mask up close. And I've had little kids turn and basically do the "oh, hell no" as well and run down the stairs to their parents. Often I'll just kind of get, and then I just open the chest and kind of let them reach in and grab candy. Which is also kind of bad because I get too much candy and the kids are too nice. They get like a piece.
Very polite.
They're
And I'll
so
tell
proper.
them often like, no, grab more. Get as much as you want. And try to get them like, okay. I didn't even have to fill up my chest once. So like, that's why there's still a huge bag in there.
I've been enjoying it.
We'll
Which
help
is
you.
good. Please do, because... But,
I love the day after Halloween.
oh, it's everywhere.
So much candy.
Everywhere. Too much. And, but the ones that were, and to the point of they got to hear some of the giggly screams
Yeah.
of some of the older kids, where they'd hear the yeah, as they
Those
describe
are
kind of
great.
like nervous giggles. My perspective of, you got me and I don't like this,
Right.
but good job.
Good.
Yeah, because it's Halloween, and I believe it is okay for people to get a little scared when that happens. And what is nice is that it has been reaffirmed by all of the parents of the younger kids who are there. They usually send their kids up alone and are down by the sidewalk. Almost every time I have scared the kids, I have heard giggling from the sidewalk. I have gotten a few straight up like, "Good costume, man. Good costume," and stuff like that up the house towards me. So it makes me think I'm doing a good thing. The sad part is, I've been doing this since I've moved into the house for the most part, so I've probably done this for a decade. That I've been wearing the exact same costume, doing the exact same stick every time.
Now, you did have evidence of how you've gained a reputation like that, which was pretty good.
Did have one. So basically the last ones of the night. Older, so perfect. A gal in what looked like a kind of fairy outfit, little pink kind of leotard thing with wings, drenched in blood, and a gal wearing a Winnie the Pooh outfit, both teenagers, obviously, at that kind of upper echelon of what you could comfortably trick or treat.
Hey,
I'm not saying don't. I'm saying upper echelon. To the point where I was simply like, oh, good. I get to give it my all. And so I did my normal thing, kind of partially opened the door, and then once they backed up a little bit, jumped out and screamed at them. And it was great. Because the gal with the kind of fairy costume turned to her friend in the Winnie the Pooh costume after screaming bloody murder, looked at her, offended as all get out, and said, I told you this was the house!
That was our favorite as well.
Which we could hear all the way from the living room, which was awesome.
that's fantastic.
So it still worked, 100%, even though they knew it was coming. They just weren't sure. What was better is I did get one more after that. A slightly larger, bigger gentleman, young still, but I forget exactly what was wearing, just like a king like thing on. And so I was like, all right, and a gal that really wasn't dressed up much, but I was like, I got candy, please. They came to the door, and I jumped out, and they seemed to be a little more ready, but at the same time, big dude kind of did the... All right. Like, he shook more, he tensed, but didn't really... I was a big guy. And he just kind of looked at me like, again, you got me. I want to admit it. All right. But seeing the two, and the girl kind of screamed, I see the gal in the fairy costume right next to my tree, just like on the other side of the porch. Turn away giggling as she runs down, because she had set her friends up and wanted to witness someone else suffer.
That is good. That's
Which came across great. Later, the same first couple came back. And I jumped out again, and they were like, we were ready for you. Because this is like the third time. But they came back and they were like, what do you look like under the mask? I was seriously like, huh? Like, why does this matter? So I just kind of like, this? With the mask. And they're like, nobody is born like that. What do you look like? And I was kind of like, why does it matter? They're like, we just really want... They were kind enough about it. I finally was like, okay. And took off the mask. I don't know why. Maybe so they can trip me up in public at some point and humiliate me to get revenge. I don't know.
It's just to erase the nightmares.
to make it like, maybe it isn't so scary. I don't know. But it was a good night. At which point we stayed up a bit later, watched more Stranger Things, probably later than I should have. But was fun.
For a school night.
For a school night, didn't have to work the next day. But was fun.
It was fun.
So did that. All right.
That's pretty awesome. Your trick-or-treating experience was definitely a lot more involved and much more exciting than mine was. We have about 4 kids in our entire neighborhood. We have 2 little boys that live across the street and 2 little girls that live right next to us, and that is it. So, last year we only got 1 bag of candy because we wanted to divide it up in quarters so they could all... We don't care. But we discovered last year that one of the boys did not like Snickers. He likes Crunch Bars.
Aw.
So this year
Snickers are
we
so
bought
good.
we bought both a bag of Snickers and a bag of Crunch Bars. And he got the whole bag of Crunch Bars.
Oh, no. Nice.
It was good. It was good. But that was it. We just had the 4. It was good.
When he grows up, he'll have the great story of, the
the
awesome
time I had a whole
houses that
bag of
give a whole
candy.
Yeah,
bag.
not even getting just the big candy bars like the rich neighbors get.
Yeah, like the
Right.
full size. No, you got the full bag.
Yeah.
I do remember in my old neighborhood back in Montana, there was one house that gave out full cans of soda.
Ooh.
Like and you could pick what soda you wanted.
Interesting.
And like they would have like Dr. Pepper and Dr. Thunder kind of thing.
Ah!
You gotta pick. Like they were
Wow.
stocked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have never thought to do that for a
That's a good idea.
It was awesome. You sought out that house.
When I was younger,
I still know which house that is.
I remember as a kid getting things like dental floss and toothbrushes. And, because
that's-
we had the dentist and stuff like that,
Right,
right?
right.
Or an apple or like granola bars, because my mom gave out granola bars.
Your mother and I must have a
figure-
discussion.
You figure that why would the dentists give out dental floss? They get more business if they give out like the
Because
full
I
candy
think,
bars.
I think free samples and stuff. I don't. They know kids are going to go nuts, right?
Right.
But it was interesting because we'd get some of those healthier things or whatever's, right? And we're like, separate pile, pillowcase full of candy.
Pile of disappointment.
We
The
always
flavored
went to the
Tootsie Rolls.
mall.
Flavored Tootsie Rolls and non-candies.
Oh.
Tootsie Rolls in
yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Candy corn.
I like candy corn, but
Candy corn's good when you have like a piece.
No, you have
Except
to have a
that
bowl,
you have
but
too
you have to
much.
go through it and bite it by
Yeah,
layer.
so then you have to put like the little
Oh,
things.
yeah. I used to do that.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
bite it
I
by
forgot
color
about that.
layer. And so you have to have a bunch because you perfect your ability.
That was
As
really
you go
hard to
through
do when I
teeth.
was missing my two front teeth for a really long time. That was not something that I could continue for a little while.
I never had that experience. I never lost my two front teeth at the same time.
Really?
They were at different times. I was very upset about
Mine
it.
were gone for a long time, and I was dressed as a very fancy princess.
Oh, no.
It was Princess and the Frog, and it was the first time my mom made me like a little boned bodice, and it had
Oh, wow.
gems all over it, and it was all satin, and it was so fancy
As a Halloween costume.
as a Halloween costume.
Of course, because, geez.
Because this is how I grew up. And then when I smiled real big, I was completely missing my front teeth.
But at the same time, that'd be adorable.
I
can only
it kinda
imagine.
was.
You
And I was
must-
walking around with this little squeaky toy frog.
Aw.
Yes. And so then, what? How do we finish up then? So Thursday night hung out. We talked anime late into the night. Because I was just dropping off Akko's hoodie
this jacket, actually.
that was left at my house from Halloween.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
gonna be
you
in
do
the
give
area.
things back.
Wears it constantly, so I figured I'd give it back.
He was in
Happen
the
to like the
neighborhood.
jacket, thank you.
Right? So it all was good. But then, back to where I started the story. On Friday, Hyde and I went to eventually go see a movie. Got a group together, and we got to go to the movie tavern, which I enjoy, although with my diet, apparently cannot eat anything there. Got hot wings. I can do hot wings. Everything else, I was like, geez. I was going to get the spinach dip, and I was like, can you just give me some celery? Oh, we don't have that. We can give you a tortilla. It's like,
Hey, we can give you flatbread.
Yeah, flatbread. I was like, so that's the opposite of what I want to do. Okay.
They
though.
also had edamame. My plan was just get the edamame and eat the spinach chip with the edamame. Probably
would
would
be
have been
interesting.
I need to look up edamame
horrendous.
better because whenever there's the bag stuff, it has a surprising amount of carbs.
Interesting.
It is weird, but
It's
a lot of
beans.
processed foods, just like regular milk, you never realize exactly how much sugar is in it
Right.
until you do, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, there's that. Thank God for carb-low milk.
It's delicious.
Oh my God, it's so good. The regular, and I'll tell you, the vanilla. Keto friends, if you get Kroger's carb-free milk. It's so good. It's like 3 grams of carbs per 8 fluid ounces. So good. Anyhow, yeah, I know you guys don't care. That's all right. So, we
good.
went and we got to see Thor Ragnarok.
It's really good.
So, doing our best to not spoil, because Show X does its best to not spoil. You know, after a certain history of ours with, you know, back in the day when it was still Octel and Hordak, and we may have spoiled the last book of Harry Potter. I say we. Octil did that, for those who remember. Literally came onto the show and said, oh gosh, and I don't remember everyone who was it. Fred, Hedwig, basically all the characters who die in the last Harry Potter book.
That's a long list.
He just like straight out said them all. Almost like first thing in the show.
Lupin.
Holy crap, did we earn some rage.
I bet.
We lost some listeners.
I bet.
And had to make a drop in after that. That was dun 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 Pottergate. Because of that. So we tried very much to be cognizant that not everybody gets to go see everything opening weekend.
I didn't even.
You understand?
I wasn't even there for that, and I'm kind of offended.
Oh. The other two of us, Hordak and I, were both looking at him like, what are you doing?
No! Stop! No!
You can't
Return to
do
sender!
this. I mean, I told the story before where, before I was on the show, barely before when I was just a listener, and I was listening to them, and Octil said, so I'm going to spoil Portal now. And I said, pause, started Portal, 4 hours later, beat the game, came back and said, I can listen now.
That's a good way to do it.
So I've learned these things. Essentially, he played the Portal song during
Oh.
the break.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had owned the game because this is right after Orange Box came out of Valve, and so when Portal first
Yes.
came out,
Was a triumph.
and nobody had heard it before,
Oh.
and so yes,
Interesting.
big
Oh,
deal.
good.
So anyhow,
Just
those
a
guys
little bit of a big thing.
So
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok, if you guys don't realize, is the latest chapter in the Marvel-verse saga, essentially
Conclave.
everything that's going on that's leading up to Infinity War that we know is coming on with the Infinity Gems, Infinity Gauntlet, and Thanos. However, this is one of the standalone movies with Thor being kind of on the side, where last we got of the majority of the group was the Captain America Civil War,
Yeah, Civil War.
which notably was absent both a Hulk and a Thor. And we didn't know why. In the end credits of that movie, for those who saw, and we will be good because they are behind.
We're perpetually behind.
They're behind in the overall group. That's something else we could try to catch them up on. Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, so how do we go about this then?
So,
in the
we'll
end
talk
credits
about-
of...
So the end credits of, I want to say, Civil War, they showed Thor talking to another one of the overall, what we know will be an Avenger or part of the Marvel Universe. And so it's kind of a quick scene like, oh, that's kind of funny, cool, whatever. In this movie, it essentially picks up from there, or there's a scene that goes directly to that, which is nice. So it ties
I like
so
those.
well back together to what's going on with the rest of the movies.
It
while
does tie
being-
in very well.
At the same time, very separate. And so it was kind of a thing where they did enough throwback because this timeline bounced a little bit.
But you always knew exactly where you were, which
Oh,
was super
absolutely.
nice. Like,
There
you knew
was no
exactly
confusion.
what was happening at all times in whatever timeline.
Yes, absolutely understood, knew where you're at. They did a marvelous job of dealing with,
Marvel is.
yes, time back and forth.
Sorry.
And it's all right. There, punny things happen. With that, this one for people, and I will say this based on what my cousin responded about seeing previews for it, is that it comes off looking like it's not going to be a very serious movie. That it's kind of lighthearted, but at the same time maybe jokish almost. Like, sure, we're making a Thor, and they have the preview of basically the Hulk coming out, so he's in it. And Thor going like, hey, it's okay, I know this guy. He's from work. And people are like, huh.
Wait, what?
What's this movie going to be? As well as an 80s-based metal soundtrack for a good portion. In the previews, you get the like, dun 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 dun, dun, just going on, yeah.
Yeah.
All of that where you're just like, okay, what's this gonna be?
It went well. It did well.
So let's just say all of that is true. All of that is the pacing, theme, the feel of this movie.
I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
I think it did well. Without spoiling anything, I think it did very well balancing the humor aspect as well as the action aspect.
Yes. It did have story. It didn't so much maybe kind of progress the overall Marvel MCU, but was more a standalone just about Thor, and as it was the subtext to it, Ragnarok. Which is end of times in the whole mythology.
Yeah, it's the prophecy of the end of I almost said Valhalla.
I
Heck
know.
no. Asgard.
Asgard. I was about to. That's why I had to stop and say like, wait,
Not Valhalla. Not Valhalla.
wait, which mythology is this? Yes. And so it's the scenes we'd seen all the way back to the last Avengers movie when Scarlet Witch got into Thor's head and showed scenes of like mirth happening in Asgard and then flame and destruction and such. So it ties all the way back to that and kind of how it comes forth to Thor talking about having those visions. So it's very interesting. Gosh. If you've seen the other stuff, it all fits and it's all there. Anyhow, other stuff I wanted to say, but characters you'd expect are all in it because this is an Asgard movie, and so the Asgardians, including Loki, he's there.
Yay.
And so, and it's great because
That's good.
they had a wonderful pacing throughout the movie. There are things they could have belabored, they could have taken more time on, and they didn't.
They definitely could have extended certain areas.
But they didn't need to. The thing was, they could have gone down a whole. Well, so the introduction of where Loki, what he's been doing, what was going on, that
They
could have taken
could
so
have-
much longer.
Oh my! But it was executed well, and it was executed in a humorous way.
hilarious.
It was very good, but yes, it could have been.
It could have been half the movie before they did that,
Yeah,
if they chose to.
yeah. Like it,
But they had
Yeah.
so much to get through. Instead, they just went right into like every scene.
it was almost how fast they did it made it funnier,
Yes.
in my opinion.
No.
Just
okay.
like, and here you go.
Yeah, and
It did a very good job of just, and
well,
here's a new situation.
they
Have
started
fun.
off with humor directly. Holy cow, that went into awesome action.
Just
that came back to humor, had a slight pause for breath, continue with more humor, before jumping into action again. I mean, it was just constant and so good. Because the overall feel of it for me was probably one of the best pacings of a movie I could have had, because I don't have a clue how long it was. But it felt like it was decently long. I want to say it started at 9, previews, got out of there like 11:30ish,
Yeah.
So 2+ hours, but no chance to breathe in that time. Like, there is not a lull throughout
Yeah.
the movie. There's
Good
slower
when you
parts.
don't feel it.
There's often times where during a movie, regardless of how good it is, I'll find myself being like, wow, it's been a long time, or like, wow, I wonder how long it's been, or like, time to refill the popcorn kind of thing. But this one was a pretty solid stream of nope, still paying attention.
Oh yes, front to end. And without giving any details of specifics, it had a solid plot and story front to end that wrapped everything up as needed.
Put a little bow on it.
Yep.
Called it good.
Perfectly. It had character development in a good way
Yes.
across the board of basically all the characters. It allowed characters you didn't know to exist or characters you've seen in the past to shine in ways that now made them more valuable, and other characters that were basically no longer a part of it and either were given a swan song or done or just not in. But it focused on a somewhat new cast in a way that was meaningful and really brought them in so you could feel for them. It expanded Asgard as a whole to a degree. It talked more about the history of it, the mural and stuff like that. That was so good about kind of the way the history should have been.
It
And-
added a lot of things that you wouldn't expect it to go into.
Yes. It was, it was cute. It was boyishly charming at points. It introduced at least 2 very badass female characters
Yes, it did.
on both ends of the spectrum.
Okay, so we might have seriously spent half the film like dissecting one of their costumes entirely to the point of figuring out in Hela. It was Hela. We dissected
Main
all of
antagonist.
Hela's costume, figuring out how to make it materials wise and how to actually make the helm and have it do the thing. She brings her hands through her hair and makes her helmet.
Ooh,
She has an ability to create things,
neat.
Yes.
spiky things. Yeah.
Okay, no more. Cut that off there.
Okay.
She's pretty cool. She's
She's a great villain,
definitely an antagonist. Some pretty cool abilities.
as well as introducing a protagonist, that was like equally badass. And
Her introduction is so phenomenal.
yes, oh god, yes, oh gosh, mine.
That's mine.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
So many good scenes with it, and that's the thing. Content of humor and story. The visuals were phenomenal. It's the effects.
They
like,
did very good. Just,
the world.
CGI
All of this
choreography,
was
everything.
taking place in a fanciful world that could not exist in human world.
yeah, it definitely. Yeah, it was mainly between Asgard
Asgard.
and another area that
I don't
you
even know
have
what
not
the name
seen
of that
yet.
planet is.
They did really well with world creation.
Yeah, no, and
Overall.
they're unique. And I'm talking about the meat of the content of the movie as a whole. Really, the thing that needs to be talked about heavily is the humor. This might have been the most entertainingly funny movie I've seen
Deadpool?
in time that I can't recall. So Deadpool is funny. The pacing of this movie, it was constant laughter.
It's true.
And all of it was genuine and good. From the opening scene when he drops and it's talking to the other thing and he starts to rotate. See?
I forgot about that.
See? From earlier
yeah.
in the scene when
Okay,
he's
so, like,
talking about why he's
Scene
where
one.
he is
Scene
and
one.
looks across from himself and the thing happens.
Yeah.
See?
Okay, yeah.
Look at this.
Okay, yeah. We
When
should
you-
stop talking about it. You guys definitely need to go see it.
This is where I say
If
the
we
humor-
don't stop talking about it, we're just gonna keep talking about scenes that
I
we
know,
like being
I know,
super vague.
that we can't talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do want to say the humor is genuine. It's both charming and that I say kind of boyish. Because even to the way Thor acts with the main female protagonist,
I could really dissect that. Actually, I've thought a lot about that. It's interesting because Thor is. Well, see, now I don't want to say it because I don't.
what I'm saying is the quality of the interaction and how charming it was. to see Thor in the way he is interacting with her
Starstruck.
is wonderful. To
Thor, starstruck.
To the like,
Yeah, he tries leaning on something, kind of falls and
that
doesn't
oops,
know what to
like,
do with
hey,
his
don't look at
hands.
me like that. I'm cool. It's-
But not like crushing, like starstruck.
but a little crushing.
Probably a little crushing. He's Thor, probably a little.
It's like just.
It was well executed. We got to move on, or we're gonna spoil
Okay,
something.
yes. You got to. So, please go see Thor. I now understand, and this is also a piece of it. Social media has been so kind because everybody is loving Thor, and I've not seen spoilers because everyone basically has responded. So Thor, please tell me when you've seen it so we can talk.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of the answer because it's so good.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you some things after this, like little quotes from my favorite scenes.
So that sounds like
I
a lot of
immediately-
fun because a lot of it. I mean, there's some movies where it's like, you could go ahead and just tell me what happens because I don't really care. But it sounds like there's a lot to the mood
This
and
is
the feel
a
of it.
ride.
That I mean, so when you have a really good mood and feel, you kind of have to see it. You can't really convey.
Yeah,
The
and it's
experience.
worth the theater experience because of how big, bright, and beautiful it is. I don't think it needs the 3D experience but if it's your jam, go do it. We saw it regular 2D and it just really worked well. So
Nice.
yes, go see Thor. It was awesome. All right, moving on. So after that, everyone regress went away. The other piece then was for us all yesterday. Getting together, I got to have the opportunity to meet up with Hyde earlier in the day to shoot some photos.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm excited to work through those. It was finally one of the costumes that you've had for a bit now. It's fun because I have like previews up of things that
That's me.
I can't wait to share, essentially.
It's funny because that and this are the same person.
Well, and the fun part is let's see, what's a good example one that I can put up here?
Violent one's always pretty good.
There.
Yeah, those
I
are
can
some
throw this
really
up real
nice.
quick so people can see what I will be working on and then a teaser because I grabbed of the many I shot the ones I think show some emotion, things that I really want to work with and do some editing on. And so that's a little preview of what will be to come and I'm excited for this one.
So cool.
So I had the opportunity, thank you very much for that, because I had ideas and it actually stemmed from seeing a piece of artwork of the character of 2B from Nier that I thought was epic and matched, I believed, Hyde's personality and kind of things beyond just the game, and so wanted to capture.
He had an idea and I liked it and we wanted to do the thing. So we did the thing.
So we did the thing, and now I have to do a lot of editing,
We
but that's okay.
Tried doing some really interesting art recreation.
And there was at least one behind-the-scenes show that I finally felt like one of those cosplay photographers where it's like, and here's all the things you have to do to make this actually look like it's something.
Oh, that's a good picture. I'll tweet that
There
photo
is
out.
issues with that.
I'll
That's
tag
all
it
yours.
if you guys want to see it. It's just a good behind the
It's
scenes
just funny
studio
because
shot.
it's Wayne's
Me-
studio.
How I look
My
like I'm
basement.
running, but I'm totally sitting on a stool and there's a fan and
Lights and fans and things. Yeah, but it worked.
it's gonna look nice.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. So that was fun. I then proceeded to go a step beyond and force Hyde to work out and do things.
It was terrible.
How are you feeling today?
I can't extend my arms.
I was gonna make you some tea. It might help a little bit.
Okay,
good
so
thing.
I am pathetically weak, kids.
It's been a long time since I have properly worked out, and so I took the opportunity to force myself again through tutelage and such to also force Hyde to make Hyde a better ninja in the future. So I'm being selfish. But in doing so, did all that. Zanka Akko decided to come over as well because we had planned for the evening.
After the workout, cleverly.
Somehow the I Am Ninja song is playing in my head.
Oh, good.
Well, because we had talked about the original Ask a Ninja YouTube channel that was there. I am ninja, you are ninja, we are ninja. Yeah, fun times. And so they came over, and thankfully we were I think timing wasn't terrible, because I don't know how long you guys were at the door.
No, it wasn't long at all. He like spammed those messages, all those
Well,
ridiculous things.
I had just gone to say, like, oh, I should probably let them know we're almost done with the workout and they can show up.
Yeah, they can head out here soon.
As I look at my phone, oh, so did Gondor not need did Gondor not need support or something like that?
Did Gondor not call for aid? And then
Yeah.
things about how the castle is locked,
locked.
even though the cavalry has arrived. And
Which one I was like, oh crap.
Aqua just kept going. So
was
we
being a
weren't
little
very
sarcastic.
long.
So then I had to run down, open the door, make sure they were in, and
We got ready to go out the door early.
I almost was able to break free of this horrible thing known as working out. Unfortunately, after they were let in, I was drug back to...
we had to finish doing our push-ups and sit-ups. Thank you.
completion.
And succeeded.
We succeeded.
So
I'm
anyway,
alive.
So with that, we then
Barely.
proceeded to catch everyone up on Stranger Things.
Yay!
Decided to make a night of it to get through season 1 so that all of us as a group could start season 2, as people have been gushing about it as well. As Hostile Prey, my cousin in the other room, is watching the last episode of season 2 right now, and we cannot, because we're not there yet. It's okay. So we continue to watch Stranger Things. We finished all of season 1, so we can talk to that. As we had started talking about, the 80s aspect, that's something that Zenko Akko and I had first started talking about when we started watching it. We really spent time like dissecting how 80s it really is.
Yeah.
And it's 80s in a good way. Because what we talked about is, for me, it's absolutely what I grew up with. Like everything, to the bikes they ride, to everything they have in media, to the tapes they have, the tape players and Walkmans and stuff, to the cars being driven, the decorations around the house.
Yeah.
Wallpaper.
Zenko and I
Yeah.
were like constantly going back and forth, like, so that lamp,
Yep.
I know where that's from. That wallpaper. Oh, look, wood paneling on the inside of your house.
All
Yeah,
kinds
we were.
of things that are still at my grandparents' house too, like the actual salt and pepper shaker attached to the napkin holder.
Oh
Yeah.
Was exactly what my grandparents still use.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, it's not just 80s, because a lot of times you'll have, shows and whatnot set in a particular period. They will have everything be that particular period.
Yeah,
But what was really
exactly
cool-
in that time frame.
What was really cool about it is you'd have things that were a little more organic, because you'd have people and things from the 70s as well that you can tell.
It was a
It's-
progression into the early 80s. And so
Yeah.
there were things from the 70s. The parents and the way they dressed versus
Yeah.
the kids. Because the kids would be wearing the little hoodies and t-shirts and stuff that you recognize, where the parents were still in that kind of like hair teased out a little bit into the 70s look.
Yeah.
The little sweater vest kind of things over. It so genuine.
Yeah.
To the way the kids kept their rooms. And I don't know the number of times I freaked out over seeing like the Thing movie poster in the back of one of the kids' rooms. I was just like, I love that movie. And that came out in like 82 or something. I was like, perfect. And so the producers of Stranger Things did a phenomenal job capturing the era. And also to a point where I saw a tweet recently, or someone, actually no, I think it was, so Jim Butcher, I want to say it was him that posted on his Facebook a link to someone posting out about Stranger Things and kind of complaining, saying, oh, I don't think Stranger Things is all that accurate. I mean, how could parents possibly have let kids run around that much like that? I can't believe that could happen.
What?
Oh, poor child.
The response to it, the person pointing it out was like, oh, you poor kids.
Oh my gosh.
We grew up
Yeah.
in a time where you just went.
Yeah.
Streetlights were maybe an indicator that you should make an appearance at home. You know? And one of the beautiful things in Stranger Things is the technology and the fact that cell phones don't exist.
Yeah.
There are phones. And at most, you see people on radios communicating and walkie-talkies to get handheld communication. which
Call
is
Dad at
real.
work if you need me.
And you have the
Absolutely,
rotary,
right.
the rotary phones.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful thing, right? Because you can see the less fortunate homes or ones in the past that had still the straight-up pulse rotary phones
I used to have one of those.
to the, and I loved that they did this, the first touch tone that was still pulse.
Yep.
Because they actually did that, where it was a touch tone phone, but when you hit it, it did the pulse. And you could hear it. And I was like, I remember that day. I remember when we got that phone. To rabbit ears, to the programming on it, and stuff like the one thing I hit them with that I said was a mistake was that what looked to be a regular school day during the week, and they had Elle watching TV flipping through stuff, and He-Man came on.
Oh, right.
Masters
Yeah.
of the Universe, and I was like, oh no, that is not a middle of the day show. That was after school.
It's true.
And the kids are still at school. So that's Wayne's one criticism. Otherwise, they're like,
That
So
and I think
dead
the
on.
work boots you were.
oh, and
you're
the work
commenting.
boots, because it was the white rubber boots that they were wearing as like the full hazmat suits that they would tape up. Look, unless the mold has never changed, and this could be the case, and I could be wrong, and maybe look it up. They're the exact same boots that you can go buy at Walmart today. And so they might have just bought those rubber boots. But everything else they found, down to the upholstery in the houses and the cars and everything they had, to the school they used, and the walls and the desks they sat
Bleachers.
in, to, I swear, the actual people cast in it
Yeah.
were from the 80s. Because the thing these kids that acted are so good about in Stranger Things is they acted like kids from the 80s.
Yep.
Not like modern kids and how they would do stuff.
Yep.
They had the proper little thing like, oh god, Dustin. And
Dustin is fantastic. I love that
Dustin
kid.
is the best damn
Yes.
kid in the
Oh my
show.
gosh.
As we talked about, D&D is such a great way of describing what they do and how they use it in the universe that we used it talking about and other things. So it's totally appropriate.
We were assigning stats to all of the characters in Stranger
Well,
Things.
and
like
and
stat
what they were
modifiers.
doing. Anything they were doing, we were talking about,
that was a
an
diplomacy
intimidation
check.
roll. Oh, that was diplomacy. Oh, that was a charisma check.
Oh, that was a failed diplomacy check. Oh, Winona Ryder is not pleased with you.
Oh gosh, yes. No, they did so.
Joyce. Her name's Joyce.
I know, I'm
Oh,
finally
yeah.
remembered.
Yeah, instead of Winona Ryder's character.
It's just always going to be Winona Ryder.
I couldn't remember the character's name for a good period of time last night, and I just kept on referring to her as Winona Ryder.
Yes.
Just like, oh yeah, Max is, this person and Winona Ryder, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to talk about her acting, which was
that's
spectacular.
exactly what came
It
to
was
mind.
phenomenal.
I mean,
All of them are phenomenal actors. They all stay true to their characters. Matthew Akko put out great, saying that they never, as characters, knew more than they needed to know. That they were honest in the writing about this is what characters knew, and thus how they reacted was so good. But the acting throughout, because they held those characters, kids were phenomenal with that. Winona Ryder has to be almost like the star of the show.
I did notice that for the entire first season, it was her name that was headlining in the
I noticed
beginning
that too.
credits.
Which is interesting, right? Because the way season 2 started, you're like, oh. But
Yeah, season 2 starts and she's not headlining. I mean, she's there, but it
Well,
also has
they-
all of the kids' names.
we thank goodness. Well, because the kids all were phenomenal. Winona Ryder being an old knowledge that people see, and other characters that if you recognize, you're like, oh, I've seen that person. She had to act one of the most difficult roles of, so your world is changing aggressively every day in a way no one else can understand.
You're going crazy.
Yes.
Have
And
fun.
yet you're not.
Everyone thinks you're going crazy. You think you're going crazy. You might be. Maybe.
But you're not. Ah!
and
So-
deep down, you know you're not.
Yeah, the crazy things she had to deal with, and just the way she showed herself getting emotionally attached and involved with everything. And it was so good to see how she reacted to the others around her who didn't see or believe or feel what she did. Because you could tell, just like you said, I know what I'm doing looks crazy. I understand that.
Like, logically, I understand that every word that comes out of my mouth sounds insane. I understand that. However, I'm still seeing these things. These things are still happening.
And I have to do this.
I don't have any other way to process it. Like, what else am I supposed to do other than act on the information I've been given?
Exactly.
And so she acts incredibly logically, and I understand why she's saying the things she's saying, how she's saying them, and what she's doing with it, because she has no other outlet for that.
And it's just so good like that. And even all the other characters, because they do a good job. You know, one of the ones we talked about a lot too about what you witness throughout is Steven. Because
He's a good character.
That's
He has
a
a
good way to put
very
it.
good character. He's an interesting one because he doesn't fit into a trope necessarily. Well,
he starts in a way.
he starts very tropey. It's very
yeah.
preppy,
the popular kind of bad kid
It's
that
a
gets a lot
top
of
of the
attention.
school,
for-
like, punk.
Yeah.
Well, not-
I own this school. Well, not necessarily
It's
punk,
his.
but I'm the popular kid who everybody knows me. I kind of get away and do whatever I want.
I
not
get
a-
what I want.
I'm not a good student,
but I get what I want.
But I get what I want. Period.
Yeah.
And so you get that vibe, and is not a thug, but at the same time is, just because he expects people to just cow down to him and do what he says. But
Yeah.
he's not a jock. He's not a big like football player kind of character, so he's not bullying in that way.
But it does go back into the fact that he is an athlete, and he is probably one of the better athletes in the school.
Exactly. And so it's this weird kind of thing with how he goes. And at first you think he's just a douchebag.
Oh, I mean, he is.
He
You don't
totally-
think it. He is.
Well, he comes across that way. And especially
He totally
because
is.
Yeah.
He's trying desperately to get with, oh gosh, what's her
Nancy.
name? Nancy, thank you. Who is like the epitome of the nice, prissy, good girl, great student, down
Yeah.
to her bedroom. Like, everything has just been her
Everything
little
is
perfect
Has
life.
her place.
Right?
And her doe eyes.
Oh, God.
Oh,
They cast the
gosh.
perfect girl for that when she turns and looks and gives the whole, like, oh, but maybe he's misunderstood. Oh, my God. Because she must have
She has
weighed
a
like
great
20
face.
pounds. And yet and all eyes
Yes.
as an actress. But
She does it very well.
she's adorable.
I'm interested to see what she does in the future too.
Yes,
because
seeing
of
how
that.
this. Oh gosh, just her in general. Yes.
Yeah, I'm very interested in her acting abilities.
So, and this is something again that we got to share with Zenko Akko. Having seen it prior, and Hyde and I haven't seen all of season 1. Just
Side
prior.
note, it's also very exciting for us to show them things because when they show us things, they giggle to each other and then start talking about it where we can't hear them. And so this was very fun because we got to know what was about to happen, so we just kind of stared at their faces,
Got to look
waiting
and do
for the
like,
jump scares to happen.
The tables have turned.
Yeah? Okay.
That's so
although
nice.
we're pretty resistant to jump scares.
Well, it wasn't
It's
even just the jump scare.
true.
For me, it's the emotional content.
I was just
Like,
waiting for it to cross your face.
We're
Just
pretty resistant to that too.
Well,
listen.
so Zenko is better about like, oh, and seeing things like that and showing it. So I was like, this is gonna happen.
You're an emotional sponge.
I'm like a Moai statue.
Nice. But so that was a lot of fun. Without going into too many details, because it's a whole season. Thank you, Netflix, for bringing it. I think it's a great season. In general, for the group, what are your overall just feelings about what you've seen through season 1 of Stranger Things? Just what kind of quality of show is it? What people should take away or think to see this?
So, sort of as I touched on before, that a lot of it was introduced to me is like, oh, there's all these, it's all straight out of the 80s, there are all these references, but it wasn't straight up references. It is definitely its own thing. And it is, like, at the same time, subtle, but not hiding things. So that as you watch it, you always feel like you're caught up with everything that they've told you. You don't feel like something was sneaked in an earlier episode and you're going to have to go back to actually know that it was there. Or, there's all those little things that will be in there naturally, but it's just, it takes you along for a ride so smoothly. I think that was one of the things that impressed me the most about it, because it didn't, like, slam things over the head, nor was it like so secretive that you didn't know what was going on half the time, which I've seen plenty of
Well,
things
we
like
get
that
those
where you
from-
can't even follow.
Yeah, we get some of those from the anime we watch, stuff that'll be so complex that when you watch it again, you're like, oh,
And while I
That's what
love
they were-
depth like that, sometimes it's overmuch, and this was definitely not in that realm.
you don't
This
feel like
just
you have to go watch it again.
brings you along so smoothly.
Yes, they do a great job of that. Agreed. I think just in general, the way they explain and give information is wonderful. So anybody could watch it.
It's true. It's part of the writing that they give you enough information that you can use it without needing to either remember all kinds of crazy things or kind of keep things in mind. At the same time, the writing's a little more subtle, so it's not like, throwing the 80s equivalent of the pie in the face. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah,
ooh,
they
look
never-
how weird this was.
They never shove it in your face. And I think because the story being told, it's nice because it's not a, maybe it's just someone's crazy and people misunderstand what's happening that way. It's, stuff's happening.
No.
Oh, it's happening.
This is things. that
And
are
it's not
actually-
good. There are things happening. And how people deal with that. And
Yeah.
how some people are aware and a lot of people are not. And there's growth because you get growth through characters like Steven. You get a lot of growth, although earlier and faster with characters like Hopper.
Hopper.
Okay, so in addition to me not being able to remember Joyce's name of Winona Ryder, I did start referring to Officer Hopper as Hops, and therefore Judy Hops, because they're both police
Apparently,
officers.
somehow Hopper and Judy Hopps are related. We're not sure exactly how that happened, but they're in a rural environment.
Listen.
Things can
Supernatural
happen.
is happening.
Listen.
Probably.
Some realities can cross.
Also, they do call him Hop. So, I mean,
do.
True.
so Hops was a natural jump, I feel, as far as...
To an animated cartoon bunny.
Listen,
He's not wrong.
I'm feeling attacked right now, and I...
Only because you were making it to a point where I wasn't even going to be able to say his name correctly
that sounds like a you problem.
because of your influence.
That's not my problem.
But he was a character that also, very quickly, you get to see change and introduced to a point where you start
Yeah.
to really go like, wow, yeah.
yeah.
And they continue to give you backstory for different characters, him being one of the primary ones throughout the series.
I love how they meter it out, though. They don't just shove all the character development down your throat all at once and expect you to remember it and be able to
Yeah.
link it back. They meter it out. They'll have an action, and then there'll be a very well placed flashback to why they would be acting that way, or why that would
Yep.
be the decision, or what they're thinking while they're doing that thing. It flows really well.
Clean writing.
And along with that flow, it was also very logical, so that there was another thing I was impressed by. There's not a lot of stupid decisions made by characters.
Yeah, that's
I
right,
love
you
it.
brought that
There's
up.
no scream. Well, I mean, I scream at the TV sometimes, but that's just characters that I know I hate that have no redemption.
But it does
Like-
make sense with backstories that they
All the-
give,
all the
and
characters were
as
true.
things are progressing, or if somebody ends up reverting somewhat because something bad happens. It all made sense. They didn't feel like stupid things, and they didn't feel like they were
Yeah.
so in character.
From their point of
True.
view, they are all making logical decisions.
Yeah.
And the acting is just beautifully portrayed with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of subtlety in that.
What?
Yes. Oh gosh. Well, and that's the thing. I can think of so many moments where
Yeah.
there's an action happening or somebody's react. It's usually somebody reacting to new information.
Yes.
Are probably some of my favorite scenes for acting throughout the series. You know what's coming. You know enough as a viewer to know more about it. And so when you get to see them introduced to it, you're kind of like, yeah, welcome to the circus, right? Good luck.
Yep.
Welcome
Yes.
to the family.
Some more than others, and some have their own discovery, and some that's kind of thrown in their face. And I think all of them act appropriately. And that's just like scene type things and just individual interactions. The overall cohesion of the kids and their group, I think, is what carries through the whole thing. The friendship stuff and how tight they are, and how they're friends. And it takes you back to, again, one of the things I said earlier, how my favorite character's got to be Dustin from the first season, because he is so practical, matter of fact, and honest
Yes.
about everything he's witnessing, because he knows his place in life. He's like, oh, I'm not the alpha. I'm not even this, right? I know where I sit, but
You're acting
Y'all.
stupid, you're acting stupid, and you're acting stupid. Figure
Yeah,
it out.
You're not right. You're not right. Here's what you did wrong. Here's why. And no, you said that, but no, actually, you did this. And according to our
I
rules,
I understand that this happened, and that was terrible. However, you're still an idiot, and you need to fix it.
yes,
Right.
yes. It's like,
Yep.
we are friends. We will continue to be friends, but you're gonna fix this.
Yeah. Oh, such a good
And that's-
character.
That's one of the great things, also
actor.
part of the writing, is that sometimes you'll have kids and characters kind of like mini
Oh, yeah.
talking adults. That wasn't the case here.
These were kids.
Yeah.
And they were kids at the right age, with the right motivation. I will go back to Dustin every time going like, guys, she did,
Yeah.
she was gonna. And just like talk about Elle just because, and we didn't even talk about Elle, right, as a character. Coming in and not knowing social norms was just going to, oh, these are clothes for me, I'm going to change right now. And being essentially young boys, they all were like, whoa, no, not cool. It was so genuine.
Over there.
And they did that as well to kind of show the trauma and things that Elle dealt with and why that was. My only challenge with Elle as a character, and you guys please disagree if you do, was her use of language.
That did occur to me.
I felt like they too often put her down to single word responses when I think she had the vocabulary to do it in many cases.
I think that was supposed to be written to trauma.
I
Yeah.
agree.
That's less her intelligence and ability to speak because people were talking around her all the time. She would
understood.
pick
That's
it
what I
up
was
fine.
noticing. Yeah.
And she understood more, but it was more like she didn't understand concepts such as friendship, and she didn't understand certain things. And
That I understood. My challenge is when she was trying to sometimes actually convey information and would only say one word or just point and gesture, where she could have added 2 more words and communication would have been enhanced significantly.
yeah,
That I was kind of like, I understand what you're trying to portray with this, but that part feels forced to me. And that was just me. And it's a
Interesting.
minor piece. It doesn't change or take away from the show.
That was something that was kind of in the back of my mind that grew more later, because I will say that at the beginning, I honestly didn't know. Okay, well, how much language does
Can
she
she
know?
talk? Yeah,
Where
exactly.
where is she as far as all of these things? But as it progresses, you see how much she had been talked to,
Yep.
and in complete sentences. That. Yeah, it did strike me as a little odd.
Linguistics major.
I was a linguistics major, so there was a certain amount of that coming in as well, that I started thinking about all of the child language development and various things like that, as far as, like, not only just her age, but if she is around those things, what she can pick up and understand, and things like that. So certainly concepts of friendship and a lot of the more positive things that she had been denied, not understanding those things made sense. But there were certain elements where it did seem like she didn't know how to communicate because she was always communicated to.
Yes, she was the one being told what to do and how to act and things like that, versus being an equal participant.
Correct.
And so it's interesting, right? And I love even the interaction with Elle and Mike about his obvious like for her, down to cuter scenes of stuff towards the end where it's like, hey, let's go to this dance together, right? Oh, family, we're family now. You've talked about us being family, so you mean like as brother and sister? And he's like, no, whoa, no. But can't admit.
I think Mike is adorable.
but
I
why
love
not?
Mike.
I don't understand. I'm like, well, don't try to introduce romance to her. She's just learning friendship. God,
Yeah, no, it was.
One step at a time.
Poor little
it
thing.
was super cute though.
It was.
My heart.
Again, kids honestly being kids and not having to deal with more adult things. Dealing with adult crazy situations, but as kids.
Yeah.
So well done. And to the point where they had comic relief in there as well on occasion with certain characters, mainly the, I want to call them deputies, but they apparently weren't, in the sheriff's office.
The other
that are-
2 police officers.
Yeah, that are just like bumbling, I guess.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great, and just, but at the same time, they captured the 80s so well too, with just the way people, what they honestly allowed or didn't allow happen. The way people interacted when things happen, they're like, it's this, no big deal, right? And to the point where I could understand today how people would have responses like the one feed I mentioned, where they wouldn't understand that things like that could occur.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh dear. Let's talk about what the 80s were like for real from those of us who lived through it, not
Yep.
what you think is okay or not by 20 years, 30 years later standards. Because they are very different.
Right.
And this is where I get in trouble, because I will admit that, yes, famous people like what Bill Cosby did was not a good thing. However, at the time, everybody did that. So there's levels of like, yeah, I hate people trying to do revisionist history.
Right.
Admit what happened at the
Like,
time.
Hold history, like
To
what happened in
today's
history
standards.
to yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that. Being persecuted for what was normal then.
Right.
Like, we understand that it was wrong now. Yes. It wasn't wrong then. And so that's
Exactly.
why it happened.
Even in Stranger Things, I see language being used that I'm like, you see what they're calling that kid? What they all kept calling Mikey? The bullies? Mm-hmm. By today's standards, that is like, oh no, you can't do that. Like, basically calling him homosexual, calling him gay, and saying he's going to do gay things and stuff like the way they did. Mm-hmm. So let me tell you, everybody, growing up in the 80s,
Yeah.
that was like the #1 insult
Yep.
to anybody. Growing up as a child, anything that was off from the norm was gay.
Right.
That was common language. It is not today. And I will tell you, there was a time frame of relearning because of that. So yes, it's just things like that that I'm very much, when I see it, I was like, you guys did really good, because that was my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah,
in
keeping
all
true to
forms.
it.
So that's great. There is so much more we can talk about. But with Stranger Things itself, what did you guys think of, like, the overall, what was going on in the world, how it was getting creepy and stuff, how that came across? You know, because we didn't really talk the overall plot line of what happened in Stranger Things. And so, we're doing this funnily enough still kind of without spoiling things, because I don't know if people see it all, even though season 1's been out for however long now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think 'cause you
again,
guys just
we
saw it.
only just saw it.
I just actually finished it earlier this week. I hadn't been fully caught up, so I did watch the last 2 episodes.
So we're kind of
earlier.
cognizant of that as well. But as a whole, the plot line going through, there is, you know, essentially another dimension exists, and it is not good. And from this dimension, there is a creature that exists in there that is not good.
Demogorgon.
Yes, one of the main characters, who you don't really get to see throughout, Will, somehow disappears and ends up in this other dimension. And yet these dimensions are so closely tied that there's interactions that can occur, though not through just like, oh, hey, how's it going? And so you get to tease out through all these scenes of how this comes to be. From, we don't know how he disappeared, but we know he disappeared. And we know something has been introduced into the normal world that is not good. And it progresses through and eventually reveals it all and comes to fruition there. So you have that element that's just kind of the world that's happening, and like stuff is happening. And then you have the whole like evil of the government organization that might have caused it all, and how they are reacting to the situation, because dirty government organization doesn't want anybody to know. And so the things they do, and just so, what did you guys feel about like because it's one thing the monster, right? A monster is a monster, and this is purely a monster.
Yep.
That happens from the underneath, from the other dimension. But what about the villains in the corporation, in DOE, and how that progressed?
So I liked it because what it set up is interesting. Almost you have like 3 different dimensions. You have, you know, the natural, kind of the ordinary, what's going on. You've got a little bit of the unreal, but then you also have the kind of quote unquote real world, the, you know, secret experiments, and we're doing this because we can, and if you don't like it, too bad, it's more important than you.
Yes.
And things like that. So you end up having several different worlds with different factions at play, each of which with their own agendas trying to get the best of each other. And it's really, really interesting how they blend all 3. And one of the things that I particularly liked about the other, or the
Upside
supernatural realm, was they borrowed a lot from maybe like even the old Alien movies. They
they
didn't
definitely
just
had a
kind of
feel.
show you. It wasn't just, oh, here's your monster, you know, this is
No.
adorable. No.
They hid the
keep it
monster
hidden.
for so long.
Yeah.
It's great.
Which
Yeah,
makes
that was
it
one thing that was
more
really good.
impactful when you do see it, because by that point you have all that emotion,
You've
all
built
that
up, this thing sucks.
history.
This
Yeah.
thing is scary.
Well, and there's even a while before you, like, fully realize that there is a monster. There's little hints of things, but you're not exactly sure what's going on. You just know that there is some other dimension.
Yeah, there's
And you slowly
something going
learn that it's bad. And you slowly, well, just like I was talking about with the writing, like, it pulls you along really smoothly, and it doesn't throw everything at you at the beginning. Nor does it drag you through boring life too much before pulling you into
Yeah,
the more
they
supernatural
never take you
things.
so long where you're like, oh, great, what's going on here? They give you just enough to understand why this interaction's important, and
Right.
and it lends to whatever they go forward with, because the reason these characters act the way they do is because these two have a relationship these way, because these two have been friends like this for this long, because these two have history from way back when they were in school together, you know, kind of thing in a small town. And all of it's impactful for that. It all is meaningful because those things all happen. So agreed. Even with the evil, there's that. Because the big evil, right, which is, of course, humanity,
Right.
always, is the person leading what causes everything.
And that certainly was an interesting element, because it certainly put the monster in this, like, a lot of times the monster isn't the focus. The monster is a beast that has to be slain.
Yes.
However,
Good way to
the
put that.
villains are
D&D.
not from that realm. They're from your own realm, and they live right next door.
Yes. The damn one
And some
summoned
ham.
Here and home. Listening to you through microphones.
You know,
You know, the usual.
when you have a really bad plumbing incident and they have to send out that many vans.
Like
Yeah.
5 vans. Oh
no, I guess it's
team of
electrical.
plumbers.
Electrical.
No, some of it was
Armed
also
with wire clippers.
hilarious in the way they're hiding and stuff like that. Where initially it's like, oh, normal, because God, normal people are just oblivious. That dad.
As seen, yeah. Gosh, yeah. Mike's dad. What a heckin' time. He is just so as far into season 2 as we've even seen. To my understanding, he's still kind of just
the same guy.
yeah. I mean, same character traits.
You don't
I mean,
expect
he's not a
him to
main
really
character,
ever
so I don't really
change.
expect anything more of him.
He's the one who would be really surprising if he suddenly grabbed a bat and started beating something.
I think he's just the one that would be very surprised.
Well, but that's like, if you see it, you'd be like, actually, that's completely out of character. Whereas the person who does do that, you're like, oh,
oh,
well, look
okay,
at that.
okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
I could see
This
that.
is good. This is good.
Yeah, and it fits in. You're like, oh.
But
It's a-
Mike's dad is.
He's useless. He's a set piece, but it's appropriate because it
Yes,
also sets
it
the
is.
stage for what his kids are able to do and why they act the way they do.
Right.
It sets the stage for why Mike's mom
Yes.
reacts the way she does to the different situations because it's the perfect, little nuclear family.
We would know about it.
Cul-de-sac family.
right?
Yeah.
Cul-de-sac
Oh,
family.
yeah.
That you then turn around and go like, oh, wow.
If he had a girl living in his home, we would know about it, right, sweetie? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
we
the
would.
moments of reveal are
We
so
would
good.
know. I know everything that happens in this
Exactly.
family.
Well, so we completed season 1 last night and then started, what, 3
episodes.
Three
Yeah.
episodes of season 2. And I personally really love where it's beginning
Yeah.
because it's a year later. The stuff that happened. Some of it, the regular populace has no idea. Majority of it, the regular populace has no idea. And you see that. Some of it, they've come up with excuses. You feel bad for Will
Yeah.
because he gets to now come through life as Zombie Boy. Right?
Yeah.
It's without anything else of what's happening in there.
And I'm like, how do I talk
Well-
about this without like crying over everything that I now know? The things I know.
Well, and again, character development continues.
Yes.
They've introduced new elements, and so things have shifted a little bit from main characters, and you see different struggles in different characters. Some of the big ones, they've introduced the new, like, Mad Max's character, as well as older brother-ish something, who's like the perfect 80s.
Yeah.
I'm driving the hot Camaro, came from the big city in California, and now we're in this little town in the middle of nowhere, and I hate everything about this. In Indiana.
We finally found it
Yeah,
on a license
several
plate.
days we were like, wait a second,
After
where are they?
several episodes, finally noticed.
To, the sheriff having to have made that deal at the end of the season 1, or it's like, oh gosh. To Will actually came back, and now they have to, there is still reality in the fact that you did go, and people know this.
Right.
So how they're processing and dealing with it.
And even how Mike is processing.
Uh-huh.
Mike.
Well, God. Yeah.
Yikes.
When you see, so spoiler for the end of season 1, hopefully you've seen, but quick spoiler, at the end, when the Demogorgon gets killed or gets disposed of, and Elle goes with, essentially, or somehow gets engulfed in the process of getting rid of, it's been a year later, and none of the boys have seen hide nor hair of an Elle because she's gone. And so they all process it differently. And of course, like, Lucas and Dustin are kind of like, yeah, Elle was awesome. Got it. They had growing pains through the process, but yep, Elle's awesome. Mike was like, Elle was my girl.
I
didn't
think
get
I
to
just
get to
lost
that,
a
but-
part of my soul.
She was the one. And so he is not accepting and wanting to still find her and believes there's more and this and that. Will has no idea. He's only heard stories
Poor
and
sweet
a
Will.
slew of them from
Yeah.
when he woke up, and them just dogpiling all the information that happened over a week into his life,
Yeah.
or a couple days. And so it's interesting to see how they all progress that. And thank you for, again, 80s references as they all start out with Halloween and stuff like that. Thank you for all of that. It's perfect for that time frame.
Yep.
The posters, the television commercials, everything. Just so good. And it's neat because, again, we were introduced in Season 1 to a different world. At the end of it, we also get to see a moment from Will's perspective where, well, maybe there was a lingering effect of getting, spoiler, ooh, I about said that in a horrible way.
Deep throated by a large intestine that
Yes.
moved on its own.
Thank you for saying it in a way I wasn't going to.
Way to go. Congrats.
Oops. So I might have gone past the timing on that. Let me just go back to that music. Not Oh Christmas Tree.
What?
That was the perfect theme song for
designed to
Hyde's
automatically go to
Revelation.
the song. The challenge is, so normally, and I apologize to people who are listening, nice hand up. It says Indiana. Isn't that Latin for hell?
Yeah.
For apparently the San Diego kids, yes. But apparently we've been talking for 75 minutes straight
Oh, wow.
since my music just switched over. Or 72, no, wow, almost 80. Because that's how long that music track plays. Oh, yeah, look at that. So, because there's more we need to talk about. We'll wrap up Stranger Things. I'm excited for season 2. I hope we can find time to consume it all.
Yeah.
I like what it's already seeing, where it's going. The story's progressed. It's got bigger. There's more happening. They teased from the very first episode that, oh yeah, remember how 11's number was 11?
This whole thing
What
about
does that
sequential
mean?
numbers. You know.
Yeah. Huh. You wonder about that.
easy
What's she
inference.
11th of?
So that's neat because that's one of the first real foreshadowings they have done in this series, with kind of a scene where you're like, wait, how far did we change? And to see that, oh, interesting. So now I know at some point that's got to come full circle somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. It does seem like it's going to get better and bigger. One of the things I absolutely knew was going to happen, not sure how, did in the third episode when we saw, where I was like, well, if he does follow that advice, that's not going to end well.
Yeah.
I am so stressed out for Will.
So it goes back
The
into,
poor
like,
kid deserves better.
this is a dark series in a good way.
Yes.
Like, it's not dark like, well, just all of you guys, like a Jim Henson show. It's instead,
You're still on about that.
it's instead one that's like, there could be good things from this, but it's not going to be a all good ride.
Right.
And so there's, yes.
I believe Zenko scarred everyone.
Thanks.
Zenko has a different view of what's appropriate for kids and happy people.
I didn't say kids.
Well, happy people.
I guess they're children at heart. Maybe.
When you talk
Well,
about
not
something
anymore,
you
I guess.
appreciated as a child and watched many, 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 many times with much love, and then you show us that.
Well, I saw it a few times as a child, and then we got it again when I was in high school and watched it many times. My mom loves
Your opinion
that.
never changed.
It's true.
Regardless of that. So we'll close out Stranger Things. Also in Dysfunctional Deviations non-geek wise, because all in the room were a part of it, I wanted to give a quick update on the cat situation.
I am injured.
As am I.
Ooh,
Yay.
now I can see it. How's it
Yay,
looking?
my
Oof.
cats.
Whew.
So
Midna.
recently I took the cats to the vet on Friday because I thought I would be a good human. And I would try to do what's right for my wards. They did not appreciate it, to say the least. It took me more than a little bit of time to acquire them, as they initially busted out of the cat carrier once, and I had to duct tape most of it shut to get them there. Upon second retrieval, had to blanket them to catch them. Very difficult by myself, by the way, throughout the house, but did manage and got to the appointment basically on time.
Impressive. Nice.
That was other wounds from that, but managed. They were very good at the vet. The vet said, I can't believe these cats came from a feral upbringing. I was like, oh, but they did.
Oh, but they are.
They were sympathetic to my struggle. Good vet. Bit expensive, but good vet. I literally scared the poop out of Tetra. in the carrier.
That's terrible.
That was fun. Thank you, vet, for cleaning that for me. Thankfully, they're eating well, so everything's nice and solid. But and they came through. I got a call. Their blood work, everything is doing great. They're in perfect condition. They don't have anything that to be concerned of from being where they were born.
Good.
So that's all wonderful. Although I may have to hold off on getting them spayed. So after during watching Stranger Things and stuff like that last night, it was decided as a group that we would try to help these cats socialize more. I think all of you have been very sympathetic to my not having really had the time necessary to really sit down with these kids. And in doing so, there's still a bit of wild children in my house.
Heckin' teenaged girls
Yeah.
running wild.
Yeah.
They're slightly feral in the house.
Yes, they just have a different environment to be feral in. So, it was decided to go ahead and try to improve their socialization. In doing so, one, they've had access to more of the house now, and in doing so, they have found some amazing hiding places that I haven't fully rooted out. But we're able to get hold of Tetra, who is admittedly the more skittish of the kittens, but the one who is also more likely to be resigned to her situation because she is not the alpha. She is definitely a follower.
The struggle snuggles.
Hyde specifically spent a solid amount of time working with Tetra yesterday. Hours.
Injuries
overall.
sustained.
But was able to make a breakthrough. Now, I think it's been reversed a little bit by her sister, but made a breakthrough of getting Tetra to the point where she could hang out with all of us, sitting on our laps, unaided, essentially without having to be held, pet, and just kind of actually give in and sleep and be calm.
Yeah, she was switched to various laps throughout.
It was fairly
watching
amazing.
things.
Congratulations and good job, Hyde. That was awesome. Thank you guys for the support. Midna, on the other hand,
The butt.
is
He's
a different
special.
kind of cat. Midna's a chore. Midna is the one who is more out there to be brave enough to go do things, and in a way, the way I explained to my cousin, because he's like, oh, I've been able to play with Midna. It's like, oh, Midna will play on her terms. She's the epitome of cat. She does not care that humans exist, except that they may entertain her on occasion. But she does not want to interact with you. She does not want it to be on your terms at all. Hell no.
She's very smart. She's a very intelligent cat.
And very
stubborn.
patient and stubborn.
Oh gosh.
Willing
Yes.
to resignedly sit in your lap until it is the opportune moment to escape.
Yes.
She takes a much more careful reading than the other cat because you can tell it on her face she has a resentful compliance.
Yes.
I will be here now, but I will be watching for my chance, and once I hit it, I'm gone.
And the key thing about when she hits it,
It involves claws.
It's 0 to infinite. She gives all effort the moment she says, I'm done. And that is nothing but claws, muscle, aggression, and this.
so
Admittedly, I don't think it's intentional to cause harm. You guys have
we
mentioned
have
that.
noticed that she does definitely not intend to harm. Like, there's been times, even when she has been incredibly cornered and hissing at us all, that she has intentionally not opted to swiping at us at all. So I'm pretty sure our injuries are just a byproduct of her trying to get away and not
Yeah.
so much her
Yeah.
actually wanting to
Yep.
attack us.
I agree.
Just
I
pretty
do agree.
solid.
Both cats, fortunately, are more hesitant to intentionally cause harm, which
Yes.
is good.
Yep. And I agree.
That being said,
Harm does happen.
we've had some nice ones. There's a nice one here. I have a couple new piercings on my stomach and a couple on my shoulder from various launching pad moments. It was
That's a good way
good.
to put it. Yes.
And I will say thank you for the support again, because I have had a level of frustration with these kids that has caused me to not involve myself probably as much as I should. Hyde, I think, especially not just witnessed but suffered some level of the same frustration.
I admittedly did hit a point last night of more frustration than compliance with uncompliant cats.
Yeah.
And I hissed back and showed them that this is not acceptable behavior. And I was very angry about it.
Which is very interesting because
worked well.
Tetra responds very well to that sort of dominance because she's
Ish.
a follower.
Ish. Oh no, Tetra.
Tetra.
Right. Sorry, Tetra.
Yes.
You're right.
Midna will try to hiss you back.
Yes.
Until she'll dart.
She's, if you hiss at her, she freaks out.
Yes.
She like does a harsh like flinch.
Yes.
Because she is very alpha and isn't quite sure what
And
to do
that's
when there's
the
something more
challenge.
dominant.
She
Yeah.
doesn't know how to be dominated yet.
Yeah,
Right.
she's the alpha as far as she's concerned, and
Yep.
Tetra's concerned, and we're currently in the effort of trying to show
Yeah.
her that she's not.
So, hopefully
Humans
with
are.
mass support. That's the goal: is to show where it is. All in the room, I know, are good. I
can do
had to
it.
have a conversation with Hostel about it as well, and have had to have additional conversations with Hostel about it. I think we're on a page now. If not, something or someone will be leaving this house. So hopefully I have enough support now to make this a solid effort. Because at some point we had basically the goal now is we've separated the cats. Tetra has access to the house because she's been better. I do believe, and I don't know if Hyde's aware of this yet, that after we had separated and then it was like couldn't find Midna again to take care of.
Midna's locked.
Well, the reasoning and the extra frustration I had why my blankets were not on my bed again is
Oh yeah, we didn't.
Midna.
No.
We're pretty sure it was Midna
Yep.
chose to defecate all over my side of the bed.
Oh.
Yep. A definite a show of dominance and
A-
displeasure.
Oh, I
Show
have
up.
words to say to your cat. Oh, that's not okay.
Yeah.
When did she find the time to do that? We locked her in the.
It was in between when she was let out.
So when she escaped.
So last night when we chose to separate them, we had she went to go hide in the litter box. They have one of the little covered litter boxes. So in frustration, knowing we needed to separate them, and since she was easily catchable since she was in a box already, we picked up the litter box and put it in a separate room and closed the door. So basically, she had a litter box. We were gonna put food in there. It's gonna be fine. We'll just leave her in there. Sometime during the night, she
She was meowing enough that
It
my cousin
woke-
woke up and was like, "Oh wait, open the
like, oh no, she must have got accidentally caught in there because we
and
couldn't find her all
let her
day.
out."
Which is fair because he was asleep during the time
did
and
not understand.
communication didn't happen. So
I didn't put a sign on yet or anything else to let him know. So admittedly.
she was let out. And
At
apparently,
which point she retaliated. Meaningfully. chose to retaliate.
Yep.
which is ironic that she was
very
sitting in a
pointed.
litter box the whole time, and you know she could have gone right.
Oh,
no, it was
she-
pure
Oh,
will.
oh yeah, no.
Will and
Because I don't
resentment.
believe that was Tetra.
I'm
I
gonna go
don't.
bite her face.
Well, so in this morning, I ended up finding her again. She was hiding by the basement door. I went and just sat down on the steps and kind of said, "Really?" Because she hissed at me. And this is when you saw me first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
I looked at her. I just sat down, wanted to have a conversation with her. She continued
Good
to hiss,
talks.
and then she leapt over me
Wow.
to get away, even though I was not going towards her at all or aggressing. She flew. She got high
Wow.
and took off. I found one of her hiding places after this because she was still in the mudroom, tucked under my skateboard in a little corner next to the shelf, just going into it on the left. So I proceeded to put on my rawhide gloves and extract her,
Good. Get you some anti-bite gloves.
at which point I needed them to get them to the vet. And so then I put her into the guest bathroom upstairs where she is still now. And messaged you guys about that.
Yeah.
I got home from running around when you guys were out eating before the show, and I checked on her again. And my cousin mentioned to me that he felt she was very scared, or that she was scared and wanted to let her back out or something. I said, no, she is in punishment and will remain in that bathroom. He's like, oh, I was just going to put her in the weight room again. I was like, no, she will remain in there and she will socialize or she will no longer be part of this household. And that was a threat kind of to both. Because I know Hostel loves cats as well, and I shall not be undermined in this or done. Cannot have that. He did mention she had been shaking and stuff, so he actually took the lid of the litter box off, and she was hiding under that as like a little cave thing.
I went and checked on her this morning too, and she was definitely in there. When I did also pick her up then, and she was
Shaking.
was Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not a purr. It was a
She is
Shiver.
scared.
So the thing
so
about
I was
her,
holding her and just being gentle and loving, and then I tried to get her to, eat a little bit, and she was,
Not.
obviously she was terrified. So I just put her
The-
back in the thing.
Box.
so as we've seen with her, and the reason why this ends up being really effective with her in particular is because everything we've seen, she is not only dominant but smart. She always has the confidence that she can get out of any situation she feels like.
And I think that we might have broke that.
So at least she has the
Break it.
idea that she may not necessarily, be the alpha, that she can wander where she pleases and do what she wants, which is important for her because...
And you. You need to show her that she's yours. You're not hers.
It's important because once she realizes that, she should calm down a little bit because she's no longer, at least, responsible for the well-being of both her and her sister.
Which is part of the separation thing, and I'm sure people listening will judge us all for our thoughts on this, but I did talk to the vet and read a lot online, and this does seem like the valid course of action, what's suggested in specifically a situation like this. So we're going to go forth with keeping them separated for a while, giving Tetra a lot of freedom in the house to realize she doesn't need Midna to lead. Working with spending time with Midna to let her realize it is a safe place and it is okay. So basically taking away her hiding places, making her have to interact, and thus being able to be fed and watered and everything and taken care of for a change, to really understand it's okay to be taken care of. And so we'll see how it goes.
That's
This
the
may
big
take a
thing.
while, and I've heard some various things that ferals can take up to a year to really acclimate.
So the important thing being, at the very base of it, I don't know how much you've gotten into talking about her when you first got her. She was the last one to be caught.
Yes.
So she
had
was.
the most time to be feral.
Yeah.
Also the cleverest.
She's smart
So-
and patient and
Yes.
stubborn.
All
She's-
terrifying combinations.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. That being said, she had the most time to be the most
Yep.
feral. So
Yep. Well, and so I want to reiterate, thank you guys all for helping, being a part of this. It's nice to have some support. It has been emotionally challenging for me, but I am also stubborn and don't want to just give up. So we'll see. But I'm hoping this will be progress as we go forward. But I will tell you, things are lost when I have to clean my bed sheets and have had to wash them multiple times. And I don't know if I need to respond in kind. But something they will understand. I don't know yet.
just take a giant dump in their litter box.
Just saying.
That'll show dominance.
Yeah, anyhow. On to other things.
Not involving giant
This
dumps
place
and
is
litter
mine.
boxes.
No. So as we get close, oh gosh. So I had news articles that I could talk about, but I kind of want to wait for Ken for that. The one that I will bring up because it is appropriate, and I'm going to switch over, instead of dysfunctional deviations, we'll go to Geek Cred because we'll mostly talk what gaming stuff because Hyde will appreciate this. But part of the reason it took me a little while to get back, and otherwise I probably could have stopped for breakfast with you guys, is I did stop by a couple stores on the way home. Both a Target and a Walmart.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, today was released the 25th anniversary. 25th? Or is it the 30th? 20th anniversary of Tamagotchi.
Oh my gosh.
Currently available at Toys R Us, Walmart, or Target.
For
or
$14.99.
Amazon. Yeah. Nope.
Did you find any?
Nope. Good luck to the world. Letting you know, because if I had, I would have bought them all. Currently,
want to buy
on
one of each.
Amazon, they're $30 each
Ooh.
for colors. They're $14.99 on Toys R Us, but completely out of stock and limit of 2 per person.
Whoa.
Fair. That's fair.
Now I'm
On
having flashbacks of getting my
Walmart-
first one.
On Walmart.
Me too. I saved up so hard for that.
They're $50 a piece
Whoa.
and back ordered.
Darn Walmart.
And so, good luck. I stopped by 2 stores. The first store, admittedly, Poor child. When I said that Tamagotchi, they are a what? Well, none of them
Kids.
apparently received any actually in stock today yet.
Oh.
Because I asked, and they talked to managers, and they're like, we don't have any. Have not received any. So it wasn't like they showed up at midnight and they gave them out already, which I would have been fine with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were no displays. There were no anything that have even been set up.
That's
And
curious.
Interesting.
And there's been no discussion about how many are supposed to be released. They are supposed to be, what is it, like 20% or 15% smaller than the originals.
That's pretty small.
That's an egg.
So
That's like
yeah,
a robin egg.
It's a really small keychain, but with the same overall interface. And admittedly, I saw a thing on the on watching the commercial on the original that I never realized or remembered on my Tamagotchi, which they had apparently the ability to pause.
Oh yeah,
What?
I would pause mine during the day. Well, because mine would always.
Right?
So my timing was
You
always
suck.
off, and so it would die while I was at school because we
those
couldn't have it at
later
school. So I would
generations?
have it switched.
I don't
so,
know. I got
'Cause
one of
I
the
don't
very
recall-
early
No, you pressed
original
both the
launches.
side buttons at the same time and it paused it.
So I saw that and learned that today.
Am I the only child that ever read the freaking manual?
No, no,
I
no,
read
no.
the
It only had like 5 instructions.
Well, but here's the thing.
I read.
I'm
manuals.
the
I always read.
I'm the
manuals.
same. I'm the same as Zenko here.
I know.
I don't remember having the ability. Now I
Okay.
got mine in '96.
Okay.
Mine was probably later generation.
Well,
Yes.
That
see,
explains
so
things.
This sounds vaguely
That's the
familiar
year I
for
was
my
born.
So,
Brother
again,
got
I got
another
mine-
I'm
one.
a child.
I got mine in '96
Yeah.
because I was. oh,
I got
actually,
mine
no,
when I was in 4th grade. So it
90
was.
97.
2004.
So mine was '97
I want to
because
A lot of time in between the two.
97.
mine was '97 because I was in a school in the military. I was in Florida.
I am a
in
child.
the military, and I had my Tamagotchi. And while I was on a day schedule, I was able to keep him alive.
Right.
When I
See-
switched to nights, I tried desperately, but I would wake up and from the middle of the day and
Because I think
he'd
pretty
be
sure
pissed.
earlier generation.
Or
there'd be
I
poop
would say
everywhere.
shat everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'd have to feed, play with, do like this mass thing, and then go to school.
Right.
And then he'd sleep all night. I was like, shit! How do I get you on my schedule?
So that's when my brother and I.
Because I couldn't pause it.
Right.
Interesting. So I did get mine in 2004-ish. It was 3 or 4, maybe 5.
Okay.
But somewhere in that
It's okay.
3-year spectrum.
Like
So
that-
it probably was a later generation where they added in the pause feature. I do remember that I actually set mine to a different time schedule, like where it was a few hours ahead of me. Because then
so
I
that you
could
be
start.
awake, have done stuff.
It would be waking up around recess.
Nice.
And so I
Right.
could mess with it then, and then it'd be fine until after school, or I could mess with it again and it'd be fine.
Right.
Other than that, I would leave it paused for the most part overnight, which really extended the lifetime process.
Which
I think
makes
my
sense.
greatest achievement on Tamagotchi was I named him Sasuke, and he evolved into a ninja.
Okay.
Now, mind you, there's not enough characters for Sasuke, so it was like S-A-S-K-E.
Fair.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
2004 was a good time for
And that's the
me.
thing, right? So apparently they're out and available somewhere in the world. If you get them, good job. I will be looking. Admittedly, if I had found any, I was going to buy them all, and I was going to be good and let people buy them from me if they wanted one.
Yes, and I was really hoping you had because I'm really well.
Oh, trust me. I stopped by 2 stores. I went through
I
managers.
wonder if they still
And
have the purple and pink one.
They have
I had the
purple,
blue and yellow one.
pink. I have the colors. I will look.
Because I lost mine. We took the dogs for a walk.
Mine went through the
And-
through the washing machine.
When I came back
Did it
from the walk,
survive?
it was not there. We went back to look, and you won't believe how many stepped on pine cones look rather like a Tamagotchi in
Oh, no.
the twilight.
Oh.
And we never found it. So my brother still had his. His eventually, like, the battery died and he didn't replace it. But then somebody else gave him one for his birthday. And that does sound vaguely familiar that later generation that he received did
I was gonna
have
say,
a pause.
Well, I look at these and these are way different than what I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, see?
Interesting. Oh, that even has, like, almost the Digivice, the Digimon Digivice vibe
So
to
is
it
it like
in
a straight
egg
up
form.
re-release, or is it they
This
make
is
any
a
changes?
re-release, essentially, of the original, but slightly smaller, and so it's a celebration, 20th anniversary celebration of it.
Guys, you don't understand. I had an account on the Tamagotchi website.
See, I didn't know that existed because
Yeah, I didn't know
That
that
wasn't
either.
a thing.
There wasn't one.
Right.
It just
Uh,
wasn't a thing back in
Because you
the
could
day.
register your Tamagotchi online and you could connect it and it would send you a code and you would put that in on your Tamagotchi. So it would send your Tamagotchi
no.
to Tama World.
See?
What?
These didn't
No.
exist when we had ours.
Well, no, like so you could literally like so if it died on your thing, he would still be alive with his name and everything, like how long he lived, and he could live on in the Tamagotchi collective.
So this
Wow,
was
the
the
Tamagotchi
90s.
hive.
Yeah, our entire world
the
was
90s.
that little egg.
The 90s,
that's all we had.
no connectivity. You couldn't upload it anywhere. That was it.
Oh,
'cause
that didn't happen
on.
until
the internet was starting to become a thing.
the Tamagotchi website didn't go up until like 2007, 2008.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
way beyond.
Over a decade.
Yeah.
my
You have to understand,
Tamagotchi-
I had my Tamagotchi that an entire 4 or 5 years
No.
obsessively.
Mine
decade
died.
later.
Mine died in '97, and still
Yours-
is in a box in my basement
Rest
somewhere.
in peace.
Somewhere, I
Yeah.
believe. But so they have blue, orange, pink, white, yellow,
That's what I want.
and blue with pink.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I want the blue and pink, or the blue and yellow one.
So you are looking at this one,
Blue
Was
and
the
yellow.
pink, or that one.
Yeah.
Officially the yellow. So yes, those are the ones. Like I said, on Amazon right now, basically about $30-ish. Wow. If you were to look for them.
Holy cow.
Yikes.
And so yeah, just wanted everyone to know they're out there. Good luck. I'd like to
Exciting.
find it because
Yeah.
yes, I remember that. And now, granted, where I work, you're not allowed to have most digital devices. If I had found one, I was going to go straight to security, say, "So, can I have this? Hopefully, it doesn't transmit or receive any information.
Right.
And if so, I want to have this at work."
Oh yeah, no, I do remember with mine, it had like the little red top on it, so if you put two Tamagotchis together, you could
Oh
connect
no.
them.
What?
Oh no. No.
So
no,
they
no.
also had Tamagotchi Friends is a thing,
Huh.
which is a little more advanced and had like little people-ish things that I saw on
I
the website.
remember.
Because I was looking today at the Tamagotchi website.
Wait, were they like little cubes?
Yes.
My
were bigger.
friend had like 10 of those. And you could like magnetize them together and they could like visit each other's homes and they would literally like
Oh, yeah,
so if
I
you had one
remember
stacked on
hearing
top
about
of it,
that.
it could like drop through the floor on into the other person's house and it would like
Oh.
have a little trap
Yes.
door.
That sounds familiar.
I remember seeing those.
I
So the
think I
never
Tamagotchi
found
saw
one.
like a
website,
commercial of
which
it.
is Tamagotchi Friends,
Whoa.
officially. Again, things that we're like, what?
Yeah.
This
Website.
is very different.
And so they have stuff, and those are actually. So here's the new ones.
Cute.
But if you go to, let's see,
Gotcha,
is
yellow.
that all they're showing right now?
Tamagotchi.
It looks like that's all they're showing. Because you see the little faces on them and stuff.
Yeah.
They had this whole Tamagotchi Friends thing, which I don't know, but there's characters.
Oh,
I didn't know
wow.
they had names.
So there's characters
They do now.
and things.
I only knew them as like what me and my friend. Okay, so seriously, like everyone in the 4th grade, Giulietti. That's cute.
I see this level of like, so that's gonna happen.
So I need one immediately.
so I've been.
What was that about me not spending money this month?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, you
Gone.
failed that so many
Out the
times.
window.
I've helped you feel that. But anyhow,
Yeah. So like the $300 cosplay one I was talking about.
we were
Well,
telling
think,
you.
you could
that's
do the
probably-
$300, or think of how many Tamagotchi you could buy.
With $300,
Yeah.
like two.
Like two. We have to buy
Well,
it.
right now, yes. Get into
There
a
is
bidding
a
war.
hope.
Full cosplay I've always wanted to do. 2 Tamagotchis. That's actually pretty rough. I can make a cosplay. I can't make a well.
You could probably Raspberry Pi one. But,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's too much effort.
Interesting.
Buy a Tamagotchi.
Well, not that expensive if they were actually retail price. So we will see that happen. So what I did want to bring up in the last like 10 minutes we have, 12 minutes. Sucks. I'm not gonna be able to talk about it fully. So in Geek Cred and my gaming life, other than having a really good ARAM not long ago where I was brand and just worked people over.
He
Branded the field.
season's
Ooh,
almost over.
So good. Yeah, but I'm
For
never
ranked.
going to
Oh,
play
wait, never
ranked
mind.
again. That's pain.
There's 3 of us. I can.
I could.
We have
get-
3 out of
Listen,
the 5 man.
my internet keeps crashing, so I would literally need to bring my rig here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not hard.
There is
All
an
right,
option.
I'll temporarily move in. We'll.
There is a room, but anyhow.
There's a cat occupying the bathroom. I don't want her clawing at my feet anymore.
It'll help you make friends.
It's true. I have a huge gash on my foot, also from her.
Yeah.
It's great.
So the thing I did want to talk about my gaming life this week was that I finally finished, and you can check it out on my stream, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Dun dun dun.
So I got through step 1.
Next.
I will tell you, Ganon's mom,
Twinrova.
Yeah.
Grr, that fight,
That is a special fight.
I reloaded that save state a lot.
Oh, so good.
I understood the concept of it quickly
Yep.
enough.
Which is
Execution.
The lock on and having it actually hit the other one?
Yeah, like, so it's... Most of the Zelda battles are pretty easy to figure out, and then you can figure out the rhythm. But with Twinrova, it was always difficult to actually execute.
Do it. It's
the
Like,
mechanics.
You figured it out pretty easily, but then you had to do it, which was hard.
Well, I was doing the thing, it just wasn't actually hitting.
Yep.
Yeah, so then you have to do the timing and the aiming and blah, 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 blah. It's
very mechanics heavy.
Next up you have Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Well, I have to finish because Ganondorf, and Ganon.
Yeah.
You haven't finished?
No, I did. But
Okay.
those fights.
okay.
In general.
Finished discussing. Okay.
Yeah, so
I was like, excuse me, you didn't finish what?
So, I would like to let you know that I did not use the guide
Ooh,
to
good.
get through unlocking the center chamber
Good.
to fight Ganondorf.
okay.
I am
Nice.
very happy.
Impressed.
I actually wandered through that and I was like, oh, this all makes sense to me and did very well. I did it the wrong direction.
That's
Because
fine.
When I looked at the guide, I finished the first like 2 and then I was like, why can't I do the next thing? And I just looked to say, start with this one. It's like, and I had to read through it again. It's like, oh, I bet you I started the wrong direction. So I went counterclockwise back and was like, oh, now I can do them again. Because there's the thing about needing, like, I don't know, golden gloves.
Yeah.
That you get in the second one from the right.
So, as much as I am so happy that you did it, I am upset that you didn't get to experience the puzzle-solving aspect.
Yeah.
I did in a lot of cases. There were some that I didn't, some of the silly ones. But that's the thing. The nice thing about that last challenge is it's kind of a conglomerate
It's a
of
good-
all of the kinds
Yeah.
of puzzles you run into that you've learned from the rest.
Because each individual temple has its own kind of
Yes.
shtick.
Style.
And,
yeah.
and I did Water Temple by itself.
Which I do greatly
And I
appreciate
did-
because I feel like that gave you a good dosing of puzzle solving.
And I did a lot of Shadow Temple kind of without. For the most part, I mean, it would have been just more annoying than
Yeah.
anything. Because I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But finishing up, like, unlocking that, and even, I mean, everything with Twin Nova and all that kind of stuff, for the most part, was like, oh, I just ran through. It was pretty good. There was some. I got challenged because I did the Sheikah Temple. Or not Sheikah Temple, the girls. The
Spirit Temple, Gerudo Valley.
Yeah, Spirit
Yep.
Temple. Thank you. That one mostly on my own.
Sheikah are not Gerudo.
You're right, and that's why the name was wrong for me. This is why we're going to have a long discussion about Zelda history someday on the cast, when I actually have you just talk about Zelda.
I'm in.
Because of this look.
I'm.
Especially as I
How
continue
dare
through
you? Is it
the
because they both
process.
have dark skin?
It's because they're powerful women.
It's true. Well, okay, so the Sheikah tribe is not entirely powerful
True,
women.
but the one you deal with is.
Impa is a beast.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry,
Okay,
meaning
fair.
Zelda, but playing a Sheikah. But that's the one you deal with throughout, and is always.
The only time that you know Sheik, the entire time you're playing, you know him as male.
True. But
There
I
are
knew
male
it was-
Sheik.
But I knew it was Zelda. Because
Screen
there's
looker.
too many things. There's too many things out there.
Listen.
Somebody
move on.
cosplays it.
I am gonna get really heated. You need to move on.
So,
About to
the
stab.
Ganondorf fight and everything was very good. So I am now, just now, this is why we're going to have this discussion, so you can set me correct. So I can
Cool.
continue to say things like Epona. And
Epona.
closer but not right, see? That's me. Still closer but not right. Me. So, I have now just started Majora's
Epona.
Mask.
Oh.
Epona.
Epona. Celtic goddess.
Again. So, eventually, I will hear it enough to actually be able to regurgitate it. Till then, my brain and ears are not
Soon.
connected well. So,
Okay, how do you pronounce the fairies' names that you just met in Majora's Mask?
oh, wait. So, tattle or tail?
Okay, good. If you mess that up, I'd lose all faith
So,
in you.
when I first was like tail, I read it as like teal or something.
Yeah, but then
But when
Tattle
I
gives
read
it away.
tattle, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can
That's
watch
our
that.
reaction,
You can
it's
watch
good.
that in my stream.
I
my
haven't seen
reaction
it.
to that.
I'm so happy.
So now you
Yeah.
need to get 100% of masks.
Eh.
Do you
Without a
want
guide.
Fierce Deity Link
Not
or
going
not?
without a gear. I am going to use the guide. I'm going to get through this because I still have so much to get to before Breath of the Wild.
But that's gamer cred, man.
Listen,
I'm just trying to go back through history that otherwise I will never touch.
and while I understand that, so it's frustrating because so much of the joy that I experienced from Zelda and why I came to love it so much was the puzzle solving. And while I duly acknowledge that you have a lot to get through and you just want to experience it, I do feel a certain loss for what you
Yeah.
will not
So
experience.
here's what I have done with Majora's Mask so far. I started playing the game.
That's good.
I got to the guide. I brought it up. It's not up. It's broken.
Good job.
Yeah.
It was
Good
up.
guy.
It gets mad.
Stay
So, like,
dead.
basically, I'm saying
But-
I'm happy that you are playing it, and I'm really excited for you to play it guide or not. I just feel a sense of loss that you will not experience
So-
the pain and triumph that
The
we all
pain.
experienced.
I've heard multiple times the pain. So here's the thing.
That freaking
every
moon.
But what
God,
I've done
the
so
moon.
far is I started playing it. And I got to the point playing it that I was like, all right, well, now I'm kind of stuck. I'm not sure what to do. And hey, I keep seeing this clock ticking around me like I'm not doing something. And I should
You
be
have 3
doing
days.
something.
Dawn of the first day, 72 hours remain.
And you can hear as I'm talking through the stream, it's like, oh, 3
With
days.
a grumpy
Well,
moon.
That'll be a problem if time progresses kind of like it did at Ocarina.
Wow, look how fast that
Holy
moon's
crap.
dropping towards the earth.
Holy
With that
crap.
evil grin on its
Not
face.
until the third day. Third day is when it
Oh, no.
gets really fast.
Every day it
Every
gets
day
closer.
gets closer, and I looked up and was like, huh, look at you.
That's
in that
concerning.
place. And oh, look at you, Skullgid. You're an ass.
That's a general consensus.
So I played through until... Where did I first look at a guide to say, what am I supposed to be doing, or did I miss something?
That's fair.
So that's all I have done with it.
As long as you use it as a guide to genuinely guide you
I
on
am
what to do next.
Not walking through it at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
Because when I first said, well, okay, what should I do next? I had gotten through all of like the first couple parts of
Okay.
the section
See, that's
on
good.
my own. And it was just like, oh,
I would just
that's
be-
right. I'm supposed to go up here. Well, I'd already like found the Great Fairy's piece.
Yeah, like I
And
was
I
just
was
more
running around.
afraid that you'd be like literally just walking through it. But if you're using it just generally as a guide,
Then that's okay.
then you're good. Then you're solid. You're golden. You're golden boy.
So just letting you know,
Stay golden, pony boy.
that is currently how I'm playing
Also,
it.
Deku Palace.
Being a Deku kid. and
I
having to
love
float-
Deku Scrubs.
And having to
Scrubs,
float
yes.
through all the
The
things.
obnoxious
Ugh.
Deku Palace theme
But
still
Well, so
causes
here's the
my
thing.
ears
so
to
far,
bleed.
I still am loving the
frustration.
music. As a whole, I'm loving the music. I'm playing the N64 version,
Nice.
and so far it has all been good, and I've been very happy. So
Have you tried playing instruments as the various things?
Yeah,
yet?
that's fun.
I just got through the first day.
So are
first
you a
3
human
days.
right now?
No, I
Okay.
just started.
Pull out your instrument.
I just started day.
It cool.
It
I
is.
played it to beat Skull Kid to get through the end of day 3.
Just
after the carnival.
Dick
stuff.
around for a little bit and play your
I
bongos.
stopped literally the moment I got day 1 again. I said, okay, I need to stop. I have places to be. I had to go train.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate when I had to play the music to...
He has the like horn.
What did I have to do? Oh,
Yeah,
to first
the
return
multi-horns.
the time back. To first call out to the goddess of time and go back.
Play the
That
Song of Time
everything
backwards.
went boom. I was like, oh, well, that's not an ocarina.
Yes.
So,
So-
that's the
Horns.
experience I've had so far.
Pro tip: every time you do go back in time, you will lose everything you have.
Yes.
So there is
The
a
one
bank.
thing on the guide that showed me was said,
The bank.
go to the bank and
Yeah,
drop
okay.
all of your
Yes.
all of your
Yeah,
gold in there or
that's a
something
good thing
would
because
be-
then if you need anything immediately,
Although-
you can start buying
Well,
it.
You really do feel sorry for the poor bank guy because that number that he put on you keeps increasing, but he never has more money in the bank, so you're constantly just kind of retroactively robbing him.
It's true.
I think all he does though is he just keeps track of what you have, and all
Yeah.
interest goes to him. That's how I think he pays for it.
But it's all gone at the end of the third
But yeah,
day.
when you go back
it
in
reverts
time,
to the
he
first
has
day.
no idea.
You having more money in
Oh.
the bank, but him
weird,
being where he was on the first day.
God, you
Weird.
thief,
Shame.
heartless.
weird,
Shame.
interesting. I'm gonna exploit the hell out of that. Well, because I figured out
Hell
the
yeah.
thing
If
where you
only.
get 7 rupee per little like grass thing that was in the one of the areas.
I would spend a whole 3-day span farming some.
Well, all I
rupees,
was doing was like,
CBH.
well, I did things so quickly that I had a day and a half before the carnival, and so I was like,
Oh.
well, what can I do with this? Oh, you can go to the Scarecrow. That seems like a waste of time. I know what I could do. I'll talk to all the citizens. Done. Okay, I can get rupees, and if I walk out and come back, they're there again. I get 7 more rupees.
So the
I
fun
come back and go
thing
back, and I get 7 more
about
rupees.
Majora's Mask is,
Riches.
and by fun I mean
Talk to the Scarecrow.
fun. It's
I talked to him, but not to go forward.
time-based events.
And it's interesting. So it's really interesting. I love how there's clocks throughout that are actually like turning and stuff. It's so slick.
So, I'm not sure how much the guide has guided you, but you
Bunny
will
ears.
need to. Okay, you're gonna need to get the bunny mask, bunny hood.
You'll
Bunny
learn
hood lets you run fast.
very
Okay,
fast.
like I said, so
So-
far I have no masks other than I know when I go talk to the mask man again, he should give me the Deku mask and I should be human again. That's all
In
I know
theory.
right now. That's it. That's what I'm aware of.
That's fair.
That's what Tattle told me. I forget which one's running with me.
I think it's I don't know.
I think it's Tattle. I think Tail's running with the other. Because Tattle
Probably.
talks about Tail.
Yes.
And so that's where I'm at. I literally started the next day walking out of the clock tower like, oh, hey.
So, have you talked to the bombers then? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have to
So the
get
notebook?
you have to get to the bomb. So I have to go back to get the notebook now
Get-
that I'm human, because they said only humans could be part of the club.
So you will need to reference that in order to accomplish a lot
I've
of the
heard
time-based events.
That it keeps track of
Yeah.
like
It-
everything you do.
Everything you put in there will stay when you go back in time.
And that's the thing that I've heard about the notebook from the guide. It just said
Mm-hmm.
because it talked about there's some discussion in the guide about, well, if you're playing on the 3DS version, you get the notebook from here, right? When you do this. If you're playing the original, you do it here, kind of thing. So I got little tidbits,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially that's I think the next thing I have to go do.
I need to get the Majora's Mask or the DS version.
So
Majora's Mask
Yeah.
version.
So anyhow, that's what I'm doing. I'm continuing my tromp through the history of Zelda through all the 3D renditions. I'm not as worried about hitting all the handhelds. I may at some point, because I still have like 4 swords sitting on
Yep.
Hmm.
my SP or something up there, and
I have like every Zelda game up through the GameCube.
I'm not surprised.
If you want to borrow them and you'll
I
play them on non-emulator.
Fell off.
But
I
you
fell
know,
off
Like a real
record and
controller
stream
in your
it.
real
at
hands.
Minish Cap.
But the Xbox One controller is so good.
Sure.
It's a Wii. It's the same as the Wii Pro controller.
Sure,
It's-
Jen.
That's how I map it.
Sure, we'll let you think that.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. The 64 controller is the biggest piece
I'm
of
sorry,
crap
where's your
I've ever
C-stick?
seen.
Oh, that's a C-pad. No.
No. It's
No.
not authentic. You
I
don't
don't
have
need
the
the
authentic
authentic.
Poser.
experience. Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Screen looker.
Poser.
I'm old and
Mouth
okay
breather.
with this.
Screen looker. That's what we're calling you now.
So, for all the hate and discontent I'm getting from the audience here,
I am genuinely happy that you are playing. Thank you very
It's time for us
much.
to end the show on that note.
I'm outside of all this.
As we do this, I will remind all of you out there to please jump into the art contest that we have going on this month, or continuing. It is almost time to wrap up. Thank you, Kuro, for adding some shots. I haven't looked yet, and I have still yet to pick the ones I'm doing for Halloween and other stuff. Damn it. But I will throw mine in there as well. This time, because it's a longer one, you can submit up to 6 things into the art contest. They can be art of any kind. They do not have to be photos, pictures, anything like that. They can be artwork in the sense of anything you draw, anything you create poetry-wise, if you were to sing, if you were to, whatever you want, prose, it does not matter, just be creative, and something that follows one of the themes. We will then vote and put it on our list of all the other winners and things that we've gotten each month. So that's out there for everybody. Please jump in. You can catch it in the forums. Just go to vtwproductions.com, click on the forums link, and make an account. If you don't have one, they're free. Just make sure it all sounds like legit information and not like Russian scammers, and I will approve it. So, oh God, the number of those I have to go through each day. But anyhow, I appreciate all of you listening into the show. Thank you to my guests. Wonderful having you guys on. Love having the conversation.
Yeah,
We'll get
thanks.
into more depth with each of you at some point about you. They are interesting people. I wish you guys all knew more. So, all right. With that, it is time for us to go. Thank you guys all so much, and we will catch you again in the future next week, hopefully, with hopefully a Ken back after he gets all revolutionary or not this today.
Unrevolutionary.
Patriotic. or such.
Unrevolutionized.
Yes. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Oh, I should probably cue a thing up. Like a pro. That.
Like a boss.
All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye. Oh, shoot. Well, I have to touch all the buttons.
Unbuy them.
Goodbye. See you in the next zombie. Good night.